This is KLZ Denver, The Source, AM and FM, AM 560 and 1220, and now on FM 95.3 and 100.7. Online, streaming at 560thesource.com, KLDC Denver, KLDC HD Denver, and KLZ HD Denver. This is the Crawford Broadcasting Company.
106 miles to Chicago. We got a full tank of gas. It's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses. Hit it. Our Lady of Blessed Acceleration, don't fail me now.
It's time for Drive Radio, presented by Colorado Select Auto Care Centers. Whether you need help diagnosing a problem,
I want to ask you a bunch of questions. I want to have them answered immediately.
Or just want to learn about all things automotive.
Hey, how exactly does the positive track rear on the Plymouth work?
It just does. Then you've come to the right place. So start your engines, buckle up, and get ready to ride. Drive Radio starts now on KLZ 560 The Source.
And this is your host, John Rush. Drive Radio, KLZ 560. Ken Rackley will be joining us here very shortly from TuneTech. And there's a great event going on as we speak at Extreme Auto Repair. So 10274 South Dransfeld Road. It's an event that if you're not there yet, you can still make it. There's plenty of time. It's a car care clinic to help you learn how to maintain your car better. So we are not on site. We're in studio today, but Dennis is running that event. He'll call in after a while and give us an update as to what's going on. So that's Dennis Brewster out at Extreme Auto Repair, 10274 South Dransfeld Road. Another event coming up next weekend is the Emily Griffith first annual car show. So Emily Griffith does all sorts of trade school type training. They're an actual school, college, and they do the trades and so on. Great college, by the way. And they're having an event, 1205 Osage Street. You do need to call and register if you're going to enter a car into the car show. 303-548-6740 is the phone number there. And again, that's the Emily Griffith event next day. So a week from today, and hopefully the weather will be better next week for that than it is today. So Mindy, Larry, both, welcome.
Good morning.
Thank you for being here.
Good to be here.
No rain yet, guys.
Not yet. We're just coming.
Yeah, we're looking out the window to the west, and it's gotten a little cloudier as the day's gone by here so far, hasn't it?
And I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I heard that we might be getting snow up in the hills. So
snow in the hills, maybe some hail, and possible tornadoes down here later this afternoon. So
if you look at the flag, you can see it's whipping pretty good. So
yeah, no, it's coming in really, really well. So caution. This isn't even in my notes for today, but a word of caution. And we talk about this every year, but yet you still see, YouTube videos and people on the news and so on getting captured in things that you wonder why. Never drive through water you don't know the depth of or how fast it's running.
Exactly.
It doesn't take, pull that mic a little closer too, Larry. I can hear you better that way.
Okay.
There we go. You never know what's going to happen when you drive through that water. And vehicle, the height of it, these new vehicles, and I've talked about this before, the way they've got all of the underbelly, and Larry knows this from looking underneath the vehicles, the way they've got all the underbelly construction and so on, these things are literally, they have gotten so tight cabin-wise now, they're like a boat.
Yeah, they are.
Really what they are.
And they'll float very easily.
They will float very easily. Mindy?
I had a friend say that he drove through water and it did some damage to his engine before.
It can.
How does that happen?
If the engine... depending upon where the intake of the engine is, so the intake being the fresh air coming into the engine. An engine is just a big air pump. Has to have air coming in, air back going out. That's why there's a tailpipe. That's why there's an intake. If water gets into the intake and actually sucks into the engine, it can do lots of different damage. Water in the engine is not good, number one, because water and oil don't mix. Number two, if you suck enough water in, it can do what we call hydrolocking the engine. In other words, there's so much water inside of the engine. Once the valves and everything close, the piston has no place to move because it's basically forcing up against a solid space, I guess is the best way to say that. And when it does, you have the negative effect of there's just so much pressure in there that you can bend connecting rods, break crankshaft, all sorts of weird things. And I've seen hydrolocked motors, and essentially what happens is they're destroyed. You start over, you put a whole new engine in it, and they're typically engines that I would venture to guess would be very difficult to even rebuild on the rebuild side.
Yeah, he had to get it. Actually, he had an old Dodge Neon, and he had to get a different car. Yep. And so I'm like, how do you avoid then the water?
Well, there's several ways you do that. I'm glad you asked, Mindy. And again, this was not rehearsed. I'm glad you asked. I happen to be driving.
I need to know.
No, I happened to be driving this past week the new Land Rover Range Rover Sport with the diesel engine in it. And what they've done with this diesel engine is they've put the intake where they've actually ducted it up through the top of the hoods, from the top of the hood rather than out in front of the grill assembly like most vehicles do. It gives it about 34 inches of water forging ability, so almost 3 feet high you could drive through with that vehicle. And it's heavy enough where you actually probably could drive through that deep of water, not have any problem. And it's not going to suck anything into the intake. And Ken Rackley just joined me. So Ken, welcome. But Ken knows what I'm talking about. You're not going to suck any water in that high up.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
So some of the off-road vehicles, Mindy, you'll see a snorkel thing on the side. Those are so those guys can drive through some of those deeper streams, rivers, things along those lines without sucking any water down into the engine.
Provided they don't get the buoyancy from the...
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, provided they're heavy enough to be able to drive through it.
I have a Honda Accord, so
they're light.
So it would not go through with them?
It's probably not going to have much more water forging capability than probably 18, 20 inches, I would venture to guess.
Yeah. Yeah,
if that.
And there's some small cars that have even less.
Yeah, the lower depending upon where they put the intake, because what happens a lot of times is not necessarily where the air box is located, but a lot of times they'll have the air box and it'll be 8-10 inches tall, and the intake is at the bottom of that.
Comes out like by the fog light.
Exactly.
Or like that.
So if you look at like where your headlights are at, for example, typically speaking, if you're above the headlamps, you're sucking water into the vehicle, into the engine.
Yeah, and even a lot of cases even just a little lower than that.
Exactly. So it doesn't take a lot of water for you to suck that. Now, that's where the advantages of the SUVs and off-road vehicles and things like that come in, because everything is much higher off the ground, pickup trucks and so on. So does that all make sense? Maybe, yes.
Yes, it does. I'll get to you later because it's a thing. Because I'm just thinking, how would I avoid this then?
You just don't drive through it. Turn around, go back the other way.
Okay.
You just don't. Don't. Yeah. And this is for everybody else listening.
Exactly.
If you're running into a situation where there's high water, you just find another path.
You can't tell how deep it is looking at it. It might not look.
Okay.
Yeah. We had some friends with all the Sterling and stuff like that. That this road looked like it had small creek going. It was just a small runoff across it, but it actually washed out the road underneath, and it was 4 feet wide and 4 feet deep.
Good point. Yeah. So it goes back to my point earlier. If you don't know how deep the water is, don't drive across.
Yeah.
Now, if you're behind a big old, some big old truck, and it looks like it goes through fine, you can see by looking at the wheels that it's only 4 to 8 inches high or something along those lines.
That's
great. Go for it.
Yeah.
You're fine. Go slow. Because again, the more water you're going to push, the more chance you have of pushing that water up into the engine compartment or up into the intake, which you do not want.
Right, and that can knock belts off. It can
all sorts of stuff.
Problems, alternators up.
Yeah, you don't want to go there.
Yeah.
Randy, you're up first today on Drive Radio. What's going on, sir?
Hey, hello, guys. I have an emissions question, but let me throw this out there before that.
Okay.
If you're stumped on a question of the day, question for me would sound cool would be, if you ask somebody what was their favorite color of their 60, 70 muscles car, would it be yellow? Would it be orange? Would it be purple?
Okay. I have one for today. I'll decide I'll ask the guys at the break if we're going to use yours or the other one. If I don't use yours today, we will in the future. That's a good one.
Yeah, they had some definitely interesting.
That's a good one.
I got a oil change coming up, and I have an emissions test coming up. And I'm going to ask you which I should do first. And the reason I'm asking is I remember you saying that, I said the best oil is a fresh oil. And you said, no, after that 500 miles when it breaks in, that's why I'm skeptical on getting my oil changed first, because I won't have 500 miles before it's time for an emission test. So which one would you do first?
On which vehicle are you talking?
Well, that's another good question. it's a 07 Dodge Caliber, and here's the thing: it has 2 cats. So whether or not that helps me or not, I would think it would, because they want to make it run a little cleaner, greener, whatever you call it.
Yeah.
And I got double protection.
The oil change, we haven't really found much of a difference, making much of a difference on
one way or the other.
One way or the other. And they're going to do a OBD test on that. So
actually, I'm driving by the truck. So usually when I drive by the truck, I get a slip in the mail.
Okay.
You're fine.
Yeah, the oil change, it's not gonna affect. Yeah.
Yeah, you had mentioned kind of like not like a break-in, but a burn-off period.
There's a burn-off period on new oil, although it's minimal, and I doubt if you're going to see any measurable difference, especially on the test you're talking about. I doubt if you see any measurable difference.
With 2 cats being on there, it's got to be to my benefit, and then I'm not going to be at the shop if there's something up the tailpipe, because I'm going by, a little wind to make it look better than it is anyway, and it passed with flying colors.
Yeah, and if your check engine light isn't on an 07, you're not going to have any problems.
My Jeep barely passes, and that one there passes with an A+.
Yeah. Yeah, you shouldn't have any.
So I can go ahead and change my oil first if I wanted to?
Yep. If you
do whatever you want.
Yep, exactly. Won't affect the emissions at all.
Well, okay. Thank you for the info.
You're very welcome, Randy. Appreciate it very much. Okay, so question of the day. We've got Randy's that just got thrown out there, or the one last week from Mindy, which we didn't get a chance to use. So Mindy was actually first. She had the favorite car you wish they would bring back. So favorite car they don't make any longer that you wish they'd bring back. So, for example, they redid the Dodge Challenger, made it look very, very similar to the early Challengers. In fact, so much so that if those things were driving by at 50 miles an hour and you didn't know one from another, you may not know the difference. That's how close they actually are to one another.
Yeah.
Camaro, they've done the same thing. They brought that car back, made it look like the early Camaros. Mustang, same thing. Yeah. So is there a car that you wish, one of your favorite cars, you wish they would bring back and do it again? I think that's a good question. So I'll save Randy's for next week and we'll run with that one. Does that sound okay? You guys all right with that? All right. Again, Ken, thanks for joining us. I apologize. We were in the middle of conversation when you walked in, so I apologize.
That's just fine. I, have my typical Saturday morning issues.
That's all right.
It's
the routine.
It's
not issues. It's a routine.
It's a routine that's not so routine. So I can make it to work on time. I just can't make it.
Saturdays Saturdays are different. That's okay.
Exactly.
That's all right. So, all right. Favorite car you wish they would bring back? We have lines open 303-477-5600. Okay, Mindy, you're first.
Sorry about that. I used to have a Nissan 200 SX hatchback, and I loved it. It was the one that had it just felt so space age to me. I had it was an 84. So that's how old it was. But it had those little lights that would pop up, the pop-up headlights, and the whole dash had everything. So
some of these cars I have to go back and look at. So 84.
Nissan 200 SX, and it was a hatchback.
I have to go back in time and look at some of these myself because I won't remember. I vaguely remember what you're. I remember that car. Yeah, those were good looking cars.
Yeah, I had 2. I had a white one with blue interior, and I had a black one with the orange interior.
Really?
And I just felt like I was the coolest thing ever, and I had the spoiler. So yeah.
So what did you do with the car?
One of them, the white one, I got into an accident. I lent it to a friend, and I got into an accident, so that one was gone.
So you don't lend cars to friends.
Yeah, I learned my lesson. And then the other one, I know. And then the black one, it was just, I bought it old. Like I got it from somebody who didn't even have a VIN, so I had to go to the sheriff and had them do all that stuff. So I only paid like $500, and then I had a friend, she was a single mom, and over time she needed a car, so I just gave it to her.
Good for you, Mindy.
Yeah,
that's good for you.
I love those cars. I'm dating myself with that car. But
that's all right. That's all right. Nothing wrong with that. All right, let's do this. I think Larry's getting Dennis lined up here. We'll come back and talk to him in just 1 second. So actually, he's ready. Is Dennis ready to go? We'll just talk to him before we go to break that way. Dennis, what's going on, man?
Well, not just waiting for people to show up.
Right on. It's kind of a slow start to the day with the cloud cover. I'm not sure people rolled out of bed yet.
Yeah, I think so. It could be.
But
we're here to tell the direction. So it doesn't matter.
When you're like you or I, or even Ken and Larry, you roll out of bed about 5 o'clock every morning. Anyways, it really doesn't make much difference.
Right.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah,
it's called old age.
It's programmed. It's just
Just wake up and go.
I don't even bother.
So anyway, what's going on at Extreme? Why do people want to come out there today?
Well, because we're going to talk about maintenance. We're going to show you why you want to maintenance your vehicle and what happens when you don't. And we have a lot of products to give away. We have a lot of. We're going to do some demonstrations with some additives.
Okay.
So you can sit there. What they show the technicians, how the chemicals work and stuff. And we're going to show that. We got a lot of parts on display. And, just want to express to them why it's important to do your maintenance on your vehicle. So,
yeah, the more you do on the front side, the more you save on the back side. That's just how it works, isn't it?
That's how it works.
That's how it works.
And it's funny because one of the customers who showed up, one of his wheel bearings went out on the way here.
Oh,
So,
yeah. And
we had to put him in a loaner car already and
got it.
lift it up and look at it. Yeah.
Got it.
So things can happen at any given time.
Yes,
yeah,
they
and
can.
some of those, the wheel bearings anymore aren't really more maintenance. They're just more, if they fail, they
Replaceable.
fail. Yeah,
That's right.
exactly.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Yep.
Hey, so question of the day is, if you could bring your favorite car back and they could make it again, what would that be?
Oh, boy.
Got to pick
that's a
one. You
good
got to pick
question.
one, not 10.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, because I'm thinking of a whole bunch of them. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. That's hard to say. Favorite car that I would bring back. I don't know.
Well,
That's a tough one. I can't tell you.
if you think of
I
it,
don't-
text me and I'll announce it on air.
Yeah. You
Or
kinda
tell
got
me
on
next
that
time you
one.
call in. One of the two. Either way works.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, man.
Okay.
Thanks, Dennis. Take
Well,
care.
all right.
That is Dennis out at Extreme Auto Repair. Join them today for their car care clinic they're doing. It's 10274 South Drensfeld Road. They'll feed you. They've got some giveaways. They'll make it worth your while. Go out there, check things out, and learn how to maintenance your vehicle. We'll be back. Don't go anywhere. This is John Rush Drive Radio with Ken Rackley, KLZ 560.
Your car may have aged well, but its AM/FM setup isn't the technological wonder it used to be. So get with the times and pick up a Bluetooth car kit at Napa for $14.99. It attaches to your visor and keeps your hands free from holding your phone. That's $14.99 for a Bluetooth car kit and a way to bring your ride into the 21st century. That's Napa know-how. At participating Napa Auto Parts stores while supplies last. Offer expires 5/31/16.
We know what it's like, trying to find an auto mechanic that you can trust. As a consumer, you feel helpless. A friend recommends a shop. You try them out, they seem okay for a while, but see how they react when they miss something. Mistakes happen, but it's what they do next that is very telling. Colorado Select is a group of like-minded independent shop owners who should be competitors, but are instead so driven to provide the best possible customer experience possible. They all work together to make sure that you, the customer,
It's up as high as it can go, he said.
best auto repair
Yeah,
in the industry.
so.
Every Colorado
I guess-
Select Car Care Center is owned by an ASE certified master technician.
Oh, okay.
And every Colorado Select member offers a 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty on every repair. If they ever miss on a repair, they promise to make it right without any hassle. Get to know the Colorado Select Car Care Center nearest you. Find one at coloradoselect.org.
When you've been in a fender bender or accident, you need to get your car repaired quickly by top-notch experts that know your car. Don't mess around with the cumbersome national auto body chains where you have no idea as to who is working on your car. Denver Collision Experts is a locally owned auto collision repair facility that will give you that personal touch you deserve. They'll help you in dealing with your insurance company and get you back on the road quickly without skimping on quality. Denver Collision Experts are Denver's experts in auto body repair. Call Denver Collision Experts today at 303-761-0955, 303-761-0955, or check them out at denvercollision.com. Be sure to tell them Drive Radio sent you.
The phrase tune-up is a thing of the past on modern vehicles. It's now called maintenance services, and there's no one-size-fits-all for tune-ups. Most often, we have to inspect and use a scan tool to diagnose for tune-ups. Maintenance tune-up intervals are usually identified in the vehicle owner manuals. At Arvada West Auto and Truck, we can help to make sense of what your vehicle needs to keep it running the way it should. Call or stop in at Arvada West Auto and Truck, 11752 West 64th Avenue, just west of Sims, 303-422-1065.
Every car has a transmission, and every transmission needs servicing, but most drivers ignore their transmission. Don't fix what ain't broke, as they say. Larry's Automotive is the area's most respected transmission and driveline repair facility, and they'll tell you that most of the expensive repairs they do could easily have been avoided with regular scheduled maintenance. Maybe they were told by a mechanic that their transmission fluid was getting dark, or maybe there was a slight hesitation between gears. Whatever the case, they are now faced with expensive repairs. Larry's technicians are ATRA and ASE certified, and their warranty covers you even if you're out of town. And while there's nobody better for transmission the preventive maintenance instead.
10 seconds, guys.
Transmission repair. The Driveline Pros on Bradburn Boulevard in Westminster. Call 303-427-2108. 303-427-2108.
And this is Drive Radio. John Rush, host Ken Rackley from TuneTech with me today. We're taking your calls. We have a line open, 303-477-5600. I got a text message a second ago from a listener that said 63 to 67 Corvette would be the car he would bring back if they would build it again. So what's your favorite car they don't make anymore you'd love to have back? So 63 to 67 Vet has made the list. And you can actually send us an email if you'd like, 303, or you can call us, 303-477-5600, or send me an email, john@drive-radio.com. That's real easy, john@drive-radio.com. Got one line open again, and let's go to John, who's next. John, welcome to Drive Radio.
Hi, guys.
How we doing, sir?
I really like the mid-60s Volkswagen Bugs.
Okay.
I had one when I was young, and I just love those little cars.
Yeah. Yeah, they've got, the new ones that came out, a couple, 3 years ago or so. They're a little closer. But yeah, they're still more the modern.
They're more modern. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, my neighbor has one in his garage. He's been working on it for like 15 years.
Oh, wow.
Wish he would finish it.
Yeah, right on. That'd be cool.
Yeah. Yeah, go with something real retro.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, hey, anyway, I have a 05 Yukon XL SUV, and I recently changed all the transfer case and front rear diff fluids. And I must have done something wrong on the rear diff because I had to remove the cover and replace it with a new gasket, and it's leaking like a sieve now.
It shouldn't have had a gasket in it to begin with.
Should have just been silicone.
Yeah. And if you put a gasket...
It did have a gasket.
It did have a gasket?
It did have a gasket, and I put one on.
That's unusual because they did not come with the gasket, and typically you don't put a gasket back in them or they leak.
Yeah.
Well, you're right. So what kind of silicone should I use?
You use the GM actually makes an RTV, but you use an orange type, well, at least orange or black, an RTV that's an oil resistant RTV. They call it. It's not silicone; it's actually RTV.
Yeah,
and you use that.
Right.
And
I've seen the Permatex black. Is that?
As long as it's temperature rated high enough, you're okay. The biggest thing you have to be careful of on all of those different RTV silicone type products is make sure they're oil resistant and they're high temp.
The ultra gray is pretty good.
Yeah.
Even the high temp orange.
Yeah. On the diff covers, the high temp orange is what we used to always use in my shops over the years, just because we never had any leaks. And the key is you have to go inside. Of course, common sense. You got to go inside. Not around, because that's too much silicone. You don't have to go around the bolts, but go inside each bolt hole and around the cover.
Yeah.
So when you say inside each bolt hole, I'm not sure what you mean.
Okay, so you've got the bolt hole. You got to make sure you put the silicone on the inside, towards the inside of the differential, not the outer side of the bolt.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
I've seen guys do it the other way. I've seen guys put it around the outside and then wonder why it leaks. You've got to go to the inside of the bolt.
And use some... Once you get the cover off, of course, clean everything up. Brake clean the surfaces.
Or acetone or whatever you got around that you get it all good and clean with.
Yeah, exactly. And make sure that that's clean and both surfaces.
And to the point where make sure there's nothing dripping out of the, make sure the tubes all run out. Make sure you've got the inside of the diff good and clean because you don't want any oil dripping out while that's trying to cure.
Yeah. And then, take a rag and just wipe that little puddle in there out and stuff like that.
Yep.
So
don't use a paper towel. Use an actual rag when you do that.
Yeah, less likely to leave any debris.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, and as far as where you put the RTV, do Do you like make a circle around each bolt hole and just bead between each one?
No, like I was saying, you don't really need to go. In fact, if you go around each bolt hole, it ends up being too much silicone. You don't want so much silicone that it then drips to the inside of the case itself. So you just go around the inside of each bolt and make the full circle, and you got 10 of those to go around and call it good.
Yeah, and when you tighten it up, you should just have a little bit come out of the outside edge there.
Yeah, I don't remember what the torque specs on those, because you do I've done them so many times. You do them by hand, but the torque specs are probably 25 foot-pounds or so is all. It's not as tight as you think.
Yeah.
Okay, and then how long do I wait before I put fluid in it?
A couple hours.
Yeah, as long as you can.
Yeah,
I mean,
longer the better.
Yeah, the longer the better.
But in a shop where you're doing a service, you're trying to get it back out and deliver to the customer. It's only going to sit for an hour and a half.
Yeah, exactly.
Like for me, I could probably do it do it one day and let it sit overnight.
Sure, if you could, it'd be awesome. That'd be way better.
That'd be the way to do it, definitely.
And then, what do you recommend for rear fluid there?
Synthetic, 7590.
And is that a Positraction unit in there? Or is it an open diff?
I think it's an open.
Okay, if it's an open, just the synthetic 7590 be fine.
Yep.
All right.
Okay.
Well, I appreciate it.
You're very welcome, John.
Hey, can I ask you? I had one more question.
Sure,
guys,
go ahead. You're fine.
If you don't mind. So, friend of my daughter's has a backyard full of I'll call it mid-50s cars sitting there gathering dust and whatever else for many years, and it's time for him to get rid of them. So I'm trying to figure out the best way to have somebody look at those cars and give them a fair value to them.
My uncle actually does car appraisals. Does it for he works for me, but does that on the side and has done that for years. He does them for insurance companies and all sorts of different individuals. He's a guy that could give you an actual authorized, written appraisal. You'll spend a little bit of money to do it, but you'll end up with a really good idea of what each car is worth and what you could start at as far as a selling point goes. And honestly, you'll save money in the end doing that because you'll get the real value out of the cars that way. You won't leave money on the table if you do it that way.
Right, and they've been sitting around so long. I just don't know what they are. We need somebody who's, like you said, I want somebody who's
and he'll do it according to condition and what do they need and how much work do they need and so on. If you send me an email, I'll get you and he together. That's not a problem. Just send it to john@drive-radio.com. I'll get you guys together.
You got it, John. Thanks for your help.
You're very welcome. Appreciate it. Yep, you too. Thank you very much. Let's go to Mark, who's next in Red Feathers. Mark, what's going on up in Red Feathers today?
Well, it's awfully foggy all morning, fellas.
All right.
Yeah, it's moving in here too.
Yep.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna complain about any moisture.
All right. No, that's a good point.
It is. I got a 93 Cherokee Sport, and when I drive it, I had to put a new temp gauge on it. The other one quit on the dash, and it runs way cooler than the thermostat setting. I can drive it. It runs like 160, 155 degrees.
And the engine's running at the 190 or whatever.
No, the engine's running at like 160 degrees, just driving down the road.
Oh, okay.
And cooler than the thermostat. So does that sound right?
No.
Yeah.
Well, what quality of a gauge did you put in it?
That's a Bosch external gauge put in by a mechanic. So.
Okay. And is it an electric type gauge or is it a water gauge?
I don't.
It's got a capillary type tube on it versus just a sensor.
I think it's a water gauge.
Okay.
But if I let it idle a lot or go uphill, it'll go up to 190, 192. But just driving without resistance, 160 degrees.
It seems awfully cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
and those were not known to run cool, so that doesn't sound right. That sounds odd.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I would want to know if that gauge is correct. And again, just even though it's a high quality gauge, that doesn't mean it's perfect. It could be It could be off. I mean, what you really could do, and this is really inexpensive, and frankly, it's a tool that everybody should have around the house. I think you can buy infrared thermometers now.
I have one.
Use that. Check the different points on the radiator, engine block, hoses, and so on. You'll get a really good idea of whether that gauge is accurate or not.
Okay, that sounds like a great idea.
Especially if it's a water gauge. If you go right where it goes into the head or into the block, it'll
tell you.
Yeah. I mean, if there's a 20 degree discrepancy there, then
you need another gauge.
That gauge is.
Yeah, great suggestion. Now, one more thing. I left my lights on yesterday and my battery completely discharged overnight. And I got a 2 amp charger and a 10 amp charger. What do you think I ought to put on that?
10 amp.
Back?
Yeah.
10 amp on.
Yeah, put the 10 amp, put more on it to get it back up, get it back up where you need to be faster. The 2 would do it. It would just take a lot longer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably take me 8 to 10 hours with a 10 amp, huh?
It's going to take a while even with the 10 amp because that's not a lot coming out of it.
Yep.
Yep. She's dead. Okay.
How old a battery is it, by the way, Mark?
It's only about a year and a half old interstate.
Okay.
So
You're good then. Yeah, do that. You'll be fine.
all right.
Check the water. Check the water level in that one too, since you can on the interstate. Make sure it's full.
Okay. Thanks for the tip on the
Sure.
infrared gun.
No, appreciate it, Mark. And that's one of those things we don't talk much about tool-wise, Kim, but infrared thermometers. And some of you are thinking, what in the world are you guys talking about? An infrared thermometer is a device that you actually, it's got a trigger on it, and you point. It's like a laser. You point it at different things you want to measure temperature on.
Yeah.
So, for example, we measure pavement temps in the wintertime to know typically when snow is going to start sticking, not sticking, and so on. You can measure your outer, your heat output on your furnace. You can measure all sorts of different things. How hot's your rear differential getting? How hot's the transmission getting? What's the engine doing? What's the radiator doing? Do you have hot spots, cold spots in the radiator? Some of you guys that fight cooling issues, and a lot of you will. It's interesting. That's one of the number one emails that I get on a pretty routine basis is cars overheating. What do I do? And in some cases, it's a hot rod with this engine and this combination, and I can't get it to cool. Those of you guys, and I don't suggest this as much as I should, you guys should own an infrared thermometer. You can buy them at Home Depot, and I'm not joking, guys. You can buy them for $45-$50. It's really an inexpensive tool, an inexpensive investment for something that you get a lot of value out of. Those of you that are in those situations with an infrared thermometer, you can start measuring around and determine where am I losing my efficiency.
Yeah.
What's the radiator doing? Am I not allowing the coolant to stay in the radiator long enough? Misconception when it comes to heating and cooling on vehicles, or getting to cool down, I should say, is a lot of guys think, well, if it's running hot, I got to put a cooler thermostat in it. Not necessarily. Sometimes a cooler thermostat will do more to actually hurt you than it does to help you, because the coolant's not staying in the radiator long enough to cool down, because it's just circulating back through the engine at a fast pace. So sometimes a higher temp thermostat will actually help everything cool down better than a low stat will.
Sure. I mean, they used to use washers and things like that for, it's
take them out.
Trial and error. Yeah, exactly.
Don't do that either.
You test the hot side of the radiator and with the fans on, go to the cold side. If there's, not much temperature drop, then, there's a big issue there with.
And literally these little devices, Ken's in here, kind of showing how it works. I know you guys can't see that. You YouTube guys can see it, but literally it's got a trigger on it, and you just point where you want to.
And most of them have a laser pointer.
It's easy to figure out where you're at.
You can be far away, for less accuracy, or go more broad. I have a friend that does home inspections, and as he can take one of those and go along a wall, see if there's insulation missing, on cold days, hot days, whatever. If there's a spot or moisture, that he's got other stuff.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, just stuff around the house.
They're handy to have. So if you don't own one, you should.
Yeah,
simple as that. All right, let's do this. We'll take a quick timeout. We'll come right back. Don't go anywhere. We've got lines open, 303-477-5600. What's your favorite car they used to make that they no longer do you'd love to have back? We'll be right back. Drive Radio, KLZ 560.
Today's gasoline direct injected engine doesn't have your father's Ford injected fuel system, and that's probably why you paid more to get one. The GDI's special design requires special maintenance to keep it carbon-free and free of costly repair. BG Products has the most current and effective GDI maintenance available in over 20,000 shops, and is one more reason service managers recommend BG 3-to-1 over all others. Find a shop near you at bgfindashop.com. If you own a GDI engine and you want it to last, remember 2 more letters, BG. BG.
At Lone Tree Veterinary Medical Center, we believe that all pets deserve to have a good life. And because we know that your pet will have many different needs throughout its life, we offer complete pet care services. Whether your furry friend needs a checkup, vaccinations, boarding, grooming, obedience training, we are here for your pet 7 days a week. At Lone Tree Veterinary Medical Center, we know that you want the very best for your pet, which is why you can count on us for the latest in technology and methods in everything we do. We are certified with the highest rankings by by the American Animal Hospital Association and hold a gold star rating with the Better Business Bureau. You and your pet can visit us Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m., Saturday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., and Sunday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. We are located at 8681 East Lincoln Avenue in Lone Tree. Learn more about us by visiting our website at LoneTreeVet.com or give us a call at 303-708-8050. We believe that all pets deserve to have a good life.
Hey, Northern Colorado. The sisters from Community Auto here. Just letting you know we got your back. We have a happy family here at Community Auto and would love for you to be a part. We've come a long way since opening shop more than 20 years ago. Thanks, Dad. His Small Business of the Year 2015, featured in Parts and People and among the top shops in Colorado, we'd like to thank you for trusting us with your vehicle. With our new customer loyalty program, you can earn rewards dollars and free services like oil changes and transmission flushes. Like us a lot? Refer a friend, and we'll give you $50. It's that easy. Auto repair doesn't have to be painful. Actually, with us, it's pretty fun. We know that a happy car will get you far, so we'll fix and maintain yours with a smile. We're fun, fresh, and good at what we do. Call us today or visit us at communityautoinc.com. We'd love to meet you.
When there's no place to charge your dead phone, withdrawals start. Withdrawals from tweeting, checking email, and watching how-to videos. So keep it charged with a portable power supply for $14.99 in Napa. For $14.99, this portable power supply charges any USB-powered device, preventing you from living in a world where you can't post selfies of you with your truck. That's Napa know-how. At participating Napa Auto Parts stores while supplies last. Offer expires 5/31/16.
Life is full of enjoyable moments, such as getting a root canal, paying taxes, your kids playing their recorder, dinner with the in-laws, and buying a car. I'm just messing with you. Those things are absolutely horrible. But with the help of Mike Lather and JFR and Associates, they might actually make purchasing a new vehicle, well, enjoyable. Tell them what you're looking for, and they'll set out and find what fits your parameters, handle the negotiating, gather history reports, and even arrange financing. Before you know it, you're behind the wheel of your new car. Take hunting for a new vehicle off of your to-do list and give it to Mike Lather with JFR and Associates. Give him a ring at 720-266-4941, 720-266-4941. Tell Mike that you heard about him on Drive Radio and get back to enjoying your kids' wonderful impromptu recorder concert.
This is ASE Automotive Professional Pam Oaks, and it's time to take a 60-second break and make you a savvy car consumer. Takata's recalling more vehicles, approximately 35 to 40 million more, making a grand total of approximately 80 million recalls. Takata expects the additional recalls will be fulfilled sometime in 2019. Is your vehicle under the new recall? Go to safercar.gov, type in your vehicle identification number located inside the driver's door jamb or your insurance card. Lesson learned.
10.
Go visit me at carcarefortheclueless.com. Making you a savvy car consumer.
And this is Drive Radio. Welcome back. John Rush, your host. Ken Rackley also will be in studio in just a second. He ran down to the car for something. He'll be right back. No worries. 303-477-5600 is our phone number. You can also hear us, and you may be right now listening on 95.3 or 100.7 FM or 1220 AM. So all four stations you'll hear us. You can also get us on the TuneIn app or live at 560thesource.com. Frank, you're next.
I had a question about rebuild engines or like Jasper engines. I've got a 73 Ford with a 429 in it.
Okay.
What do you think about Jasper engines?
Well, to start off with, Jasper, great engine. They do a great job. They do fantastic. In your particular situation, I'm guessing you would have to send that engine off, have it rebuilt, and sent back to you, because I doubt if they're going to have an engine you can actually do a swap on.
Okay, that's what I was wondering.
Just because that engine is so rare, you're just not going to find one. Now, I could be wrong, and you'd have to just do some research and find out. the way to do that would be if you're in Commerce City, call Larry during the week, Larry and Jeff at Larry's Automotive. They deal with Jasper. You cannot buy Jasper direct from Jasper. You'd have to buy it through Larry and Jeff. That's the only way Jasper does. I think, is that right, Larry? They don't sell direct to the public, do they? I don't believe they do. They do now? Okay, so they do sell direct to the public. So there you go. They didn't at one time.
Okay, does Larry's rebuild engines themselves? Or
they do not rebuild engines themselves. There's very few places in town that actually do that. The only one that I know of left, and we've recommended some folks go there, we've had good luck. I'd love to give them as a sponsor, is Ridge Reamer over in the west side of town. They will do an actual engine rebuild for you and do your engine and everything. If you wanted to go that route, they could do that.
Okay. That was my question.
Okay. You're very welcome, Frank. Thanks for calling in. You made it back, Ken.
Made it back.
Did you run?
Starting to. I was saving time. That's right.
Raining yet?
It's sprinkle. Yeah.
Starting to sprinkle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We got lines open 303-477-5600. And got a couple more emails on favorite cars that we wish they'd make again. Mid-60s Lancia Fulvia? Am I saying that right? Small, beautifully engineered, great driver. Any Lancia before Fiat took over in the mid-70s were jewels. I don't know much about Lancia, so I'll have to take this is Stan. I'll have to take Stan's word for it.
Yeah, it wasn't a lot imported, I don't think.
I don't know Lancias that well at all. I just don't. All right, next one. This comes from a friend of mine, actually. Favorite cars in order are 62 Pontiac Grand Prix and a 64 Pontiac GTO. Always wanted a Grand Prix, but was never able to get one. Yeah, those are both good cars.
Yeah.
Those are some of the ones you and I were kind of naming off earlier.
Right, exactly, yeah.
In the break, I should say.
Yeah, a friend of mine had a 66. Was it a Grand Prix? I think it was a Grand Prix, so it looked similar to the GTO and stuff like that, but it had the 389. It was
64 GTOs with that. That would be the early goats, which is what that one was. They called those goats. Those were pretty fun cars. We were talking during the break just a little bit ago. I know you guys couldn't hear this because the mics are off, but Ken and I were talking Chevelle. So like a 70 Chevelle, the LS6, bring that car back, Chevrolet. I think you'd sell as many of them as you build.
Yeah. I'd
be surprised if you didn't.
Right. Exactly. And they tried to bring back it wasn't even a bring back. It was the SSR?
The SS?
That little truck deal. Yeah, that wasn't much there, but yeah, but like the El Camino, but there's just going to be a certain market for that. So it's
El Camino would be okay. That one would be that one would be interesting. That'd be interesting. I'm looking up too, just for grins, just to see if I can get these numbers real quick. For example, on Camaros, how many did they sell in 2015? So I just pulled up the Detroit News, and let's see here. So this was an article back in June of 2015. Ford sold 56,571 Mustangs. Chevy sold 33,982 Mustangs. With those kind of numbers, when they're selling that many, you can justify building just about any car you want to.
Yeah, 32,000 Camaros?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
33,000. I mean, when you're building that many in a year, you can justify building just about any car you want to.
Yeah.
That's enough cars to, let me do the math here real quick. So let's just say, for example, we'll go between the two. So 56,000 Mustangs, 33,000 Camaros. So let's just say, let's just round that, Ken, 40,000 cars, and you divide that by, I don't know, what is there roughly, they're not running 6 days a week. So they're running about 250 production days a year, roughly, maybe. That's 160 cars a day.
Yeah.
That's worth making.
They sold every
so
one.
If they could sell, in other words, if they could bring Chevelles back and sell that many of them, that's a viable option. There's money to be made in that.
Yeah.
Because they'll run those for many, many years too. That was just through May. I don't know what the total sales per year are. I need to look that up and see the math just right a minute ago, because that was just through the May production. So that they're selling very well. Let's just say that all those retro cars are doing extremely, extremely well. Dell, you're up next. What's going on, sir?
Hey, Colin, how you doing?
Doing good.
I'd like to see a 66 Chevrolet GT8 back.
66
I had
Fairlane
one with-
GT8. Okay.
Yeah, the one with the 390 hypo with the tri-power.
That'd be fun.
Mm-hmm.
Tri-power won't. The tri-power would never come back, but the car and a new engine could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get the
The other
modern.
thing too, I'd like to see on the old cars is there were so many of them. A lot of the body designs and that were unique, and they were personalized more than they are now. You don't have 3 lines of cars that are using the same parts.
You know, you used to be able to look in your rearview mirror at night with the lights on and know what exact car was behind you. Now they're all similar. So that's
The other thing too on that water, on my 500cc Ford engine, and you get it in water, and it kind of raises heck with the serpentine belts too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but it does. Yeah, that would make sense. Yeah, sure enough.
Anyway,
very cool. No, Dale, appreciate it very much. Yeah, and so just to give you an idea of those production numbers a minute, a figure all the way through 14. I don't have 2015 to 16 numbers, but 20. See, this would be Mustang. We do it first. So 2014 Mustang sales were 135,000 roughly cars. It was roughly on the Camaro 98,000 cars. Yeah, you produce that many. Like I said a minute ago, that was just that figure I gave a minute ago was just through that window. So you do a full production year. Yeah, you get up to the 100,000 mark. Yeah, you can make money with those cars. Definitely.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Yeah. Yeah.
It doesn't sound like a lot of cars, but 100,000 cars, that's actually a lot of cars.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Which down the road means they're not worth a ton of money because they put a ton of them in the marketplace.
Sure.
But as comparison, just listen to this. When it comes back to the comparison side of the fence, back in, get this, Ken, 1967. Actually, 66 looks like the highest year. So in 66, they sold 600,000 Mustangs.
Wow.
600,000 Mustangs. And think about our population.
Yeah. Exactly.
And in 67, they did 472. That's when the Camaro launched. So that did cut into Mustang sales because when they went to when the Camaro came out in 67, they sold 472,000. Camaros were 220. And then things got to be pretty even. 68 was 317 to 235. 69 was 299 to 243. 70 was 190 to 124. So almost all along, you're going to see Ford outselling Chevrolet on the Camaro versus Mustang front, all the way up until, of course, they didn't make a Camaro for a number of years.
Yeah.
In 2010, they did the Mustang refresh, and Camaro outsold them that year. 2011, they outsold them. 2012 was pretty close. 2013, Camaro again. 2014, Mustang outsold Camaro. So now they're pretty neck and neck.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Anyway, side note.
Definitely.
John, hang tight. We'll come right back to you. Don't go anywhere. This is Drive Radio. Don't go anywhere. KLZ 560.
Your car has up to 24 different onboard computers, making repairs more complicated than ever. Without the right tools, some of these repairs are nearly impossible. Once again, Extreme Auto Repair in Parker has gone to the extreme for you. Extreme owner Dennis Brewster invested in the very same scanning tools the dealerships use. This is important because by using these specialized scan tools, they can directly connect your car's computer system to the actual manufacturer for instant diagnostics. Manufacturer specs and all of the up-to-date, detailed repair information your technician needs to properly fix your car. Best of all, they are faster and always cheaper than the dealerships. Extreme Auto Repair, the most technologically advanced car care center in Douglas County. Tell them you listen to KLZ and they'll take 20% off your bill. Call 303-841-1071, 303-841-1071. Extreme Auto Repair in Parker, going to the extreme for you.
This is Red Merrill for Phoenix Weaponry. Phoenix Weaponry is a weapon manufacturer that services the firearm enthusiast. From precision ARs to suppressors, Phoenix Weaponry can make your dreams come true. Phoenix Weaponry is a full-service gun shop that offers gunsmithing, coating, and modifications to your own weapon. Phoenix Weaponry, family-owned and operated right here in Colorado. If you can dream it, Phoenix Weaponry can build it. Call today.
Can you guys see better what that guy is throwing? He's got like something on a rope. We're trying to figure it out.
340-2496 or visit their website, phoenixweaponry.com. Mention Sportsman of Colorado and receive 10% off your custom-built weapon.
Is he from the dojo? We think he's from that dojo place. We're trying to figure out what he's like whipping around.
Needing an oil change? Take advantage of Gino's premium $29.95 oil change and receive a free set of windshield wipers with the mention of this ad. See store for details. Brakes, alignments, or car maintenance. Gino's does it all. In business over 32 years, Gino's offers courtesy vehicles while your car is being serviced. They are conveniently located at Bowles and Platte Canyon in Littleton. Visit them online at Gino'sAutoservice.com. That's Gino's with a J.
In a flash, from out of nowhere, your whole life can change forever. It happened so quickly, nobody saw it coming. Soon the medical bills will be arriving. Will insurance cover your injuries? Does the other driver have assets? Should I sue? It was his fault after all. After an accident, you need to call the law offices of Fletch Law. Fletch Law will never settle until you are fully compensated for your injuries.
Call 303-806-8886 for the Fletch Law Firm. 303-806-8886. Online, go to FletchLawFirm.com.
Fletch Law, the trial-tested, trial-ready attorneys.
Driving around the neighborhood, I see guys working on their cars, probably saving some money by doing their own spring tune-ups. You don't have to be a gearhead to do simple maintenance on your car. You just need someone to show you how. Extreme Auto Repair Parker has their annual spring maintenance car care clinic coming up on Saturday, May 7th from 10 a.m. to noon. It's free, and you'll be learning simple car care procedures that you can do yourself. Sign up today for this free money-saving clinic by calling 303-841-1071. They always go to the extreme for you at Extreme Auto Repair Parker.
Know-how! Some people steer clear of store brands, but Napa conventional motor oil for $2.19 a quart is more than a store brand. It has the Napa logo on it, a logo that represents quality and knowledge. The same logo on the store and that guy's shirt. So pick up Napa conventional motor oil for $2.19 a quart. Only available at, you guessed it, Napa. That's Napa know-how. General States pricing. Sales prices do not include applicable state, local taxes, or recycling fees. Offer expires 5/31/16.
John Rush Drive Radio, KLZ 560, heard on 95.3 and 100.7 FM. Mark actually sent me an email and said, how about the 72 K5 Blazer? Convertible fund, seating for 7 with a second and third row benches. This one would have to be lengthened to have the second and third row because they only had a second row originally. They were a 5-passenger originally. Pretty cool, though. That'd be a great vehicle. The original Suburbans now, they, back in 72, they were a 3-door Suburban back in the day.
Yeah, they started out with just the passenger side.
Passenger side door. They didn't have a driver's side door on the back side.
Yeah.
Which was really interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
It's like, why?
Yeah. I think
cheaper?
Yeah, exactly. Well, you see some of these old movies and stuff that some of the drivers would enter from the passenger side on cars, like coming
slide across.
Yeah, exactly.
That's interesting.
Okay, yeah.
That is interesting.
Definitely don't do that.
Anyways, that was one of my choices, 72 K5 Blazer or Jimmy. The GMCs, by the way, some of you may not know this, but the GMCs, I think, had a better looking front end because they had 4 headlights with a different grille.
Right.
Back then, there was a big difference between, well, I shouldn't say big difference. There was a difference in the front end between a Chevy and a GMC. Then it kind of went along where it was a badging difference. Yeah. And now we're back again to where the front ends are different, which I like, frankly.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to go buy a GMC. It's a little different look than a Chevy and put a little difference between the two.
Right.
John, you're next. What's going on, sir?
Yeah, hey, I'd like to see him bring back the 80s Pontiac Fiero GT, but with a modern day 4-cylinder.
Yeah, you know what? That's
sure.
Yeah, they were a good car back in the day.
Because they used to have just Chevette transmissions, Chevette engines, and they'd burn up.
Yeah.
Because they'd overheat and stuff. But bring them back with a modern day 4-cylinder, higher horsepower, better transmission than little Pontiac Fiero. I just wish they'd bring back the Pontiac line.
I remember driving that Fiero, test driving one at a dealership when they were brand new, and it was a fun car to drive.
Yeah. And the GT too had a better body style.
That's true.
Yeah, had the trim and all that stuff that looked a lot better, definitely.
Well, there's not too many Fieros around anymore, is there?
No,
there's not. And their body, I think, were fiberglass, or they had the same body that a Saturn had.
Composite,
Fiberglass
composite
or-
kind of a body, wasn't it?
Something or another.
Yeah, it wasn't really fiberglass. It was something like that. It wasn't regular metal.
Yeah.
No, they weren't. They were some sort of a
break apart if they got hit. Yeah.
a composite material of some kind, if I'm not mistaken.
That's right. But I like the looks of them. I like the GT version. If they could bring it back with a modern day transmission and, like I said, an engine, they put those little rice burners out of business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Could be right.
Yeah. Get that 2-liter turbo that they use in the Chevys and the Cadillacs. And yeah.
That's right.
Yep. Good stuff. All right.
Good show, guys.
Hey, appreciate it very much. So, what car would you bring back if you had a choice? There's lots of them out there, by the way. There's lots of cars they used to make, they don't make anymore. What's interesting is they're starting to look back in time and say, maybe there is something to building some of these cars in a more modern fashion and we could actually sell them. For example, there's talk again, and there's been talk off and on, but there is talk that Ford will bring back the Bronco. And there's pictures all over the internet. You can go out there, Google it, look at them. I don't know how true to form any of those pictures actually are. I have no idea. I have heard, though, even on the media side of the fence, that Ford is going to bring back the Ranger. They're going to build that in Detroit. They've put some sort of a deal together with the UAW. And so they're going to bring back the Ranger. And in turn, the Bronco, if they do bring it out, will be built on that platform.
Okay.
It'll be on a Ranger platform. Now, what will it have in it for powertrain and all of that? I have no idea. I don't know if any of this is even true, if it's just talk.
Yeah, right.
It's hard to say, but that would be, the early Broncos, and they've kept their value very well. In fact, the early Broncos and the early Chevy trucks, period, have kept their value very well. If you can find one, frankly, if you can find one for less than $5,000 right now, buy it because they're just going to continue to go up in value. And if you find one restored, you can't find one restored, really, really restored properly for under 15.
Yeah.
On either side.
All right.
On the Chevy or the Ford side. And in some cases, you're going to spend way more than that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
How about, we had somebody call the other day. There's a guy down in Texas. Actually, there's several companies around the country, but specifically there's a company in Texas rebuilding and selling the old Grand Wagoneers.
Oh, really?
Like from the 80s and 90s.
Yeah. Good vehicles. Just, their powertrain was.
I made a lot of money working on those.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
That is a vehicle I have no love for.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Not personally.
Yeah.
It brings back memories because I worked on a ton of them, but I never wanted to own one back then.
Well, no. We always had big issues with vapor locking.
Oh, they're terrible.
Yeah. You get a modern engine powertrain in it, it might be.
Yeah, it might be better. Fuel injected and stuff. It might be better.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Don, you're next. What's going on, sir?
Hey, hi, John. Hi, Ken.
Hey, good morning.
How you doing?
Nice to talk with you guys.
Likewise.
Hey, I'll tell you the car I want to come back. 1967 Chevrolet pickup.
Yeah.
Oh man, that body style was really
the 67s and talking about it versus the 72s that we just had an email on. The difference in the 67s is they had a little bit more of a, so they didn't have that abrupt, that they had more of a sloped hood than the later ones did.
Yeah.
That was rolling sculpture, my friend.
They were good looking trucks.
Yeah.
They were a great look. 67 and 68, and then in 69 they squared off the hood.
Yeah, they squared them off.
That made it look ugly.
Yep.
And that's 67 and 8.
Yeah. And I would agree with that. The only reason why back in the day you bought a 69 or later is because you got a better transfer case and disc brakes.
Okay.
Because the 67s used a Rockwell transfer case that, frankly, no offense, they were junk. They were terrible. You couldn't buy parts for them and so on. And they were noisy and so on. And they had drum brakes on the front. So the guys wanted to buy I think it was 70 and newer, 70, 71, 72. They all had disc brakes on the front and were just a much better vehicle at that point.
I hear you. I know you're going to laugh at me, but I really like the early Ford Falcons, the 60s.
Oh, I do too.
Oh,
I
sure.
like those cars.
Yeah.
Those and the Chevy 2s both I like a lot because they have a similar body style. Yeah, I like those cars very well.
We were talking about that over the break.
Yeah.
The 6-cylinder engines are so easy to work on, and man, they were a neat car.
No, the early Falcons were a good car. They were.
Yeah.
An early Falcon with a 302 was a screamer. I can tell you that much right now because I had a friend in high school that owned one of those things with a 302 in it, and that thing hauled.
Yeah.
Oh, I bet because it was a light car.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I had a 327 in my Chevy too, and
it
was a lot of fun.
You betcha.
Yeah.
One other car is the first.
Yeah. 16 Novas.
Oh
Yep.
man.
Yep.
Yeah.
They were
And the
great.
Nova would be another car they could bring back and do well with, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
Keep it out of
absolutely.
Toyota's hands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Always a pleasure to talk
Hey,
with
likewise,
you guys.
Don. Appreciate it very, very much. Let's see. We've got one more we can get in, I think, before the top of the hour. Mark, you're up next.
Yes, guys. I love this topic of the production vehicle bringing back. So when I was in high school, I had a 79 GMC pickup with 4-speed rainy gear.
Yep.
I would love to see that come back.
Yeah,
But
the
I also
79, and you know what? The
currently
79s are getting to that 73 to 80 model year now are getting to be worth pretty decent money because there's no more, there's not too many, I should say, 67 to 72s left. So then that's pushed people that are wanting to restore stuff up into the 73 to 80s.
Right, and that was before the big emission deal in '81. So,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I unfortunately rolled mine on accident heading it back from Leadville on a snowstorm when I was
too
in
bad.
high school. So
Too
that
bad.
one got trashed. But I also had a 99 Subaru Legacy SUS, which I liked because it had good clearance. But I currently own two 1999 Legacy GTs sedans.
Good
one's
cars.
an automatic, and one's a 5-speed.
Cool.
And the thing I love about my automatic is it's one of the few cars I've ever known to have a spin-on, like oil filter type for the automatic transmission.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah,
So you can just change the filter and drain the
There you
fluid.
go.
Off you go.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, we got to run to our top of the hour commercial break. News, I should say. We'll be right back. Drive Radio, hour number 2 coming next. Don't go anywhere. John Rush, Ken Rackley, KLZ 560.
Still haven't had enough? Go to drive-radio.com. Email your questions and comments, download previous programs, and find lots of useful information, including your nearest Colorado Select Auto Care Center. That's drive-radio.com. Thanks for listening to Drive Radio, sponsored by the member shops of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers on KLZ 560.
Drive Radio is a presentation of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers. The independently owned and operated shops of Colorado Select hold each other accountable for their highest standards of technical expertise, honesty, and professionalism. They all understand that choosing a mechanic is risky business. So Colorado Select was created by this exclusive group of like-minded professionals who are level of consumer confidence in Colorado's auto repair industry. Any of the Colorado Select Auto Care Centers heard on Drive Radio, and you'll immediately see the difference of all the member shops in the state. Visit drive-radio.com.
During the afternoon rush, weekdays from 3 to 6 on KLZ 560.
It's springtime in the Rockies with Sportsman of Colorado. Afternoons at 1. We'll tell you where the fish are biting with our fishing experts.
Quick question. Do you guys ever deal with motorcycles? Because it seems like since I've been here, I've only mainly heard cars, but I never hear people call it and about it. So
Archery season. All that and more on Sportsman. 1 to 2 p.m. right here. 60. Check out our website, sportsmanofcolorado.com. If you like the outdoors, you'll love Sportsman of Colorado.
Right now, The Source is simulcasting in AM and FM. KLZ Denver 560, KLZ FM 100.7, and KLDC Denver AM 1220 and FM 95.3. KLDC HD Denver and KLZ HD Denver with online listening at 560thesource.com.
U.S. The master.
Thousands of people being forced to flee raging wildfires in Alberta, Canada. Premier Rachel Notley said 4,000 people scheduled to be today. More than 7,000 lining up their vehicles yesterday for away from the city of Fort McMurray. Shifting blaze, which continues to grow. Donald Trump says he's not worried about support from prominent Republicans at a rally in Nebraska. Former presidential candidate Lindsey Graham said he wouldn't be voting for him and called the South Carolina senator nasty. Trump also said Ryan, who recently said he was not ready to support Donald Trump, he talked to Ryan and thought that he was on board. I'm Sean DeMaster. with USA Radio News. Get breaking news at usaradio.com.
Hey, it's Russ. Some of the best websites in the world. One of the ones that actually my female friends love it. It's thoughtfulwomen.org and Heather Laskin. Women.org.
Well, Rusty, we have all kinds of stuff on our site. Stuff to a thoughtful woman. So everything from recipes and tips and tricks, in your kitchen or your house, to inspiring and uplifting stories, type articles, just kind of the whole gamut.
The uplifting stories, that's where you really kind of shine at thoughtfulwomen.org, don't you think?
Yeah, that's what people tend to really gravitate towards.
It's stuff that you want people to feel good about, a great website to go into the morning, get that nice inspiration every day.
Yeah, exactly. And we love getting to find those stories and share them with everyone.
It's a great job. Make sure you check out this incredible website, thoughtfulwomen.org and.org.
KLZ Denver.
John Rush during the afternoon rush, weekdays from 3 to 6 on KLZ 560.
Being an expert on general automotive knowledge, what would the correct ignition timing be on a 1955 Bel Air Chevrolet with a 327 cubic inch engine and a full barrel carburetor?
It is a trick question.
Watch this.
The Chevy didn't make a 27 didn't come out till 62, and it wasn't offered in the Bel Air with the 4-barrel carb till 64. However, 1964, the correct ignition timing would be 4 degrees before top dead.
Get ready for another hour of Drive Radio, brought to you by Colorado Select Auto Care. See for the experts and give them a call, 303-477-600. Now it's time to pop the hood and get our hands dirty. Drive Radio on KLZ 560 The Source.
And this is Drive Radio. John Rush, your host, KLZ 560, Ken Rackley from Tune Tech. And if you're ever in the Aurora area or just South Denver, period, you need something done on your vehicle, doesn't matter what it is, Ken can take care of you. He's at Colfax and 225, just a little bit east of 225 on Colfax. Just look to the left as you go under the underpass, and it's about, 300 yards down the road, and you'll run into Ken.
Yep. Yeah, about a quarter of a mile.
Not very far.
Nope, not
Just
too
look
far.
to the left, and there he is.
There you are. That's right.
Piece of cake. So what's your phone number, Ken?
303-364-3391.
All right. Bill in Lakewood, you're next. What's going on, sir?
Hey, I got an answer to both of them. Hey, on the Bronco.
Yeah.
Which ones are you talking about that they're going to remake?
67 to 72.
70. No, they went far. 75, I think they went all the way up to.
75.
76.
Okay. Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah.
I had a 75. I had two of them. I'll tell you, that was the best vehicle to hunt with.
Oh, yeah.
That turning radius.
Narrow. Yeah, they were narrow. They were, yeah.
They're better than a Jeep.
Yeah.
Except the heater was terrible.
Yeah, well, so were the Jeeps, and so was everything else.
The floor in the front was terrible.
It was built in the 70s. So.
But a friend of mine, his mom has, I think it's a 76. The last year they made them. It's showroom fresh.
Really?
And I told him, I want to buy it. Nope, I'm going to buy it.
Oh, yeah. Wow, there's not too many of those
And
around.
the wheels aren't, the fender wells aren't cut.
Oh, they're not cut even? Oh, wow.
It's just stock.
Virgin Bronco, we used to call those.
Anyway, a car I'd like to see them do again is when I bought a 1972 Dodge 10, bought brand new, and I put Michelin. My mom worked for Michelin on tires, so I put Michelin X's on it.
Interesting.
It didn't last mileage-wise.
Right.
Plus back then, the theory was 12,000 miles. And plus I was 20 years old.
Yeah. Well, and it was a 510. It probably rested fairly soon.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I took it back to New York and got it all.
Oh, yeah.
And then I in my parents' garage for about 3 months.
It was just, you had to sweep it up with the dustpan.
It wasn't that, but it just rusted sitting there.
Wow.
That was the best car. You don't know how many of my friends, after I had that, bought a Datsun because how good of a car it was.
Yeah. Makes
and it
sense.
was fast, and it would zip in the rain up in the mountain roads. It was like glue on the road.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's really.
And like I said, those
Interesting.
were those Michelin X's.
That's interesting.
And I told Donnie Cipher this. I put 65,000 miles on those tires and never rotated it or aligned them once.
Wow, that's pretty good.
Yeah,
When I got back to New York,
Wow.
I went a car wash, I think it was, and steel belts were showing. And that's when it blew out.
Interesting. Good stuff. Hey, Bill, appreciate the phone call very much. I had an email comment that just came into on the same subject. I think talking about our Suburbans, the 3 doors versus the 4 doors, and I cannot verify this. So, Bob, if you can prove this to me, I'll believe you. Not saying that I don't, but he says that on the GMCs, the 3 doors were only on the 4-wheel drive, that the 2-wheel drives were 4 doors. But I'm looking online at pictures, and it looks to me like 2 and 4-wheel drives are both 3 doors. So I'm missing something someplace because I didn't know of a 4-door Suburban back in that era, either 2 or 4-wheel drive. Am I missing something, Ken?
I can't think of anything that. I can't remember back that far. I
can't either.
And,
his favorite is a '66 Barracuda with a 224 slant 6. So he was ticketed at 115 in that car.
Yeah, fun.
Yeah, fun car.
Yeah, exactly.
You're next.
Morning, fellas.
How we doing, sir?
Good show. Good. Quick question. I have an in-law that's looking at new General Motors GMC Chevy, or not new, used from 07 to 2011 is what appears to be in his price range, relatively speaking. And he was asking me what if there's any caveats about those trucks he should be looking out for. What's the 6-liter like? Was there any problems? Is the 5.3 a good motor? And so I'll let you expound on that.
They're both good engines, and Ken can chime in too. Neither one is a problem engine. The 6 liters are be a little stronger engine as far as the power side of the fence is concerned, but they're gas hogs. Major.
I figured that they probably
what I mean by that is literally back in those days, you could buy a 6-liter or you could buy an 8-liter, and I'm not exaggerating. The 6-liter would get just as poor a fuel economy as the 8-liters would. That's how bad they were. I'm not exaggerating.
Now, was the 8-liter basically a bored out 460?
No, it was a 500 cubic. It's a 502 is what it is.
496 on the 8.1.
Yeah, okay.
It was, but 500 cubic
500
inches.
cube.
I used to get and with the 8-liter 8.1s, they only put them in the 3/4 ton, so you had a little bit more weight. Where the 6 liters and the 5.3s,
some of those they didn't have tons.
Yeah, so I got a consistent with the 8.1. I got a consistent 12. Yep. I mean, 12 miles to the gallon. On my 5.3 and my Suburbans, the half-ton chassis, consistent 16.
Right.
15 and a half, 16.
Yeah. And I owned a 6-liter at one point in time. Actually, my dad did too. Sold the truck just because the fuel economy was so poor. And it was kind of a heavy half-ton truck, if you would, on the 6-liter. The best you'd ever get in that truck was 13, 14 miles a gallon.
Anything else, electronics or suspensions or any red lights on them that you would look at all in that 2007 to 11 year frame?
There was a recall out. They extended it for the transmission cooler hoses, but I mean that was, that's just something that if they're leaking before he buys it, they just, and it's not that expensive to replace. It's just one of those things that something you got to keep an eye out for. But yeah, for the most
part, they're good trucks.
Yeah.
Really anything wrong with them at all.
And I think a lot of it with the 6-liter tube mileage wise is how they're driven.
Yeah.
My mother-in-law's got a Denali half-ton with the 6-liter in it, and she gets 15 to 16 too. No different than our Suburban. So it's just weird. And because we always can pull up those mileage, trackers on the cars and stuff, and it's just some get worse than others, but it's
and I don't know whether it's just a combination of engine is designed. I don't know. I don't know all of the ins and outs of it. I just know they don't do very, very well fuel economy.
Right, exactly.
Interesting. Well, thank you. That helps immensely. Really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Very, very much so. Thanks, Mike. We appreciate it. All right, here's one more that came in. Always been a Buick fan. Would love to see the Roadmaster, the Grand National, which is the GS car, the Regal, which, by the way, is a rare car if you can find one today also.
You're right.
And the Riviera with the supercharged engine as standard. Yeah, the old Rivieras were pretty good looking cars too. Now, the best looking Riviera, as far as I'm concerned, they ever built were like the 63, 64s.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the best looking Rivieras of any of them. Now, some guys will tell you, oh, no, John, the boat tail. I hated that boat tail car. I never could get to liking that boat tail Riviera. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Some guys love it, but I never cared for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just wasn't me.
Right. Exactly.
I don't know why. I just didn't. And I own a Buick. I've got a 68 Buick GS, which, I love that car.
Sure.
But it teaches his own. But yeah, no, the Grand National would be a great car to bring back. So what's your favorite car you wish they would bring back and build again? Questions. We've got answers. And by the way, it doesn't matter what it is. If you got a question, car question wise, whether it's for us or whether it's for you, a friend, a coworker, doesn't matter what it is. There's no dumb question on Drive Radio. Call for you, 303-477-5600. We'll be right back. Don't go. Drive 60.
Battery question.
Happy screwdriver set for $19.99 at Napa. You're not just getting 26 beautiful chrome-plated instruments. You're getting something that shows the world if there's a problem, you've got 26 ways to tackle it. That's $19.99 screwdriver set and 26 ways to show you're the man for any job that requires screwdrivers. That's Napa know-how. At participating Napa Auto Parts stores while supplies last. Offer expires 5/31/16.
Does your vehicle drive straight? Are your tires wearing even? Have you hit a few curbs or potholes lately? If any of these sound familiar, then you should have your alignment checked. At Arvada West Auto and Truck, we have the latest in alignment imaging technology to give you the perfect alignment. Many times, extra parts are needed to keep the tires wearing correctly. Call or stop in at Arvada West Auto and Truck, 11752 West 64th Avenue, just west of Sims. 303-422-1065.
Veterinary Medical Center, we believe that all pets deserve to have a good life. And because we know that your pet will have many different needs throughout its life, we offer complete pet care services. Whether you're for vaccinations, boarding, grooming, obedience training, we are here for your pet 7 days a week. At Lone Tree Veterinary Medical Center, we know that you want your pet. You can count on us for the latest in technology and methods in everything. We highest rankings by the American Animal Hospital Association and hold a gold star rating with the Better Business Bureau. You and your pet can visit us Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m., Saturday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., and Sunday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. We are located at 8681 East Lincoln Avenue in Lone Tree. Learn more about us by visiting our website at LoneTreeVet.com or give us a call at 303-708-8050. We believe that all pets deserve to have a good life.
The new gasoline direct injection engines, also known as GDI, are the hottest new improvement to horsepower and fuel efficiency in this century. Service professionals agree that GDI's unique power requires unique GDI maintenance. BG Products has the most current and effective GDI maintenance available in over 20,000 shops, and they back it up with a lifetime BG protection plan. Go to bgfindershop.com. That's bgfindershop.com. If you have a GDI engine and you want it to last, remember 2 more letters. BG.
We know what it's like, trying to find an auto mechanic that you can trust. As a consumer, you feel helpless. A friend recommends a shop. You try them out, they seem okay for a while, but see how they react when they miss something. Mistakes happen, but it's what they do next that is very telling. Colorado Select is a group of like-minded independent shop owners who should be competitors, but are instead so driven to provide the best possible customer experience possible. They all work together to make sure that you, the customer, is always with the best service and the best auto repair in the industry. Our Select Car Care Center is owned by an ASE certified master technician, and member offers a 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty on every repair.
10 seconds, guys.
If they ever miss on a repair, they promise to make it right without any hassle. Get to know the Colorado Select Car Care Center nearest you. Find one at coloradoselect.org.
And this is Drive Radio, KLZ 560, heard on 95.3 and 100.7 FM. Ken Rackley from Tune Tech with me today. And yeah, the rain's coming. Those of you on the west side, I think it's raining pretty hard already as we speak.
Yep.
And it's not raining quite yet here, but I'm guessing it will be by the time we get out of here, Ken, if not sooner.
Right.
Probably raining by noon by the time we get here. So
yeah.
Lines open 303-477-5600. Anything you want to talk about, we'd love to chat. It doesn't matter what the question is, we'll answer it. What's your favorite car you wish they'd bring back? I've got some more things to talk about today. Also, one thing that Mindy wants us to explain is how you actually check the battery. Okay, so let's do that real quick. How do you actually check a battery? First of all, you have to make sure it's a maintenance type battery. So Ken, how do you do that?
Yeah. Well, if you're able to remove the top caps on it, see if there's water in it over the plates, basically, and then to the bottom of the. They have kind of a little guide. It's kind of hard to describe, but it's one of those things where remove the caps, make sure there's no lead plates showing, that aren't submerged. And if they are showing, then you need to add some distilled water, get a full charge on it. And then there's a battery hydrometer that you can test each individual cell if you want to go that far. Load tested, of course, all of our shops can load test those and make sure they work well. And make sure there's no corrosion on any of the terminals. Side posts are known for leaking. If there's any, on a lot of batteries with the tops, they'll sometimes seep, the acid and stuff. Right. And that can be definitely detrimental to the battery itself and keeping them clean and things along those lines. In some cases, they get bad enough where they need to be replaced. But
yep, that's how you do it.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that's...
Pull it and look.
Yeah, just make sure...
Make sure you're getting on your clothes.
Yeah, because it likes to eat
It'll lead through it.
You're right. Exactly.
Now, you won't know it right away, but the first time you do wash, there'll be a hole in your clothes.
Yep, exactly.
How it works.
And you're like, what? How did that happen?
That's how battery acid works. Isn't that funny how that is?
Yeah, exactly. You can get it on your hands. I mean, I don't recommend that, but
it won't hurt it as much.
You're right. And you don't feel it on your hands. You wash them off or whatever. But if you touch your clothes
you're
next
in trouble.
time,
That's right. That's exactly how it works.
Yep.
All right, so here's another bring back car. 1940 Ford Coupe and convertible, modernized, of course. Love the looks. He also has a question. This is Ron that emailed me. How do I reprogram my TPMS in a 2012 Impala after a tire rotation? Ken, you know? Get to use a scan tool on that one, I'm sure?
I believe so, yeah.
Would you have to have a factory scan tool, or can you do it? Or can you do that through the car or computer itself?
That I'm not sure. Let me pull that up real quick, because some of those you can do from the car,
right?
And you don't really have to have any special tools, but you do have to have an air, either a compressor or something like that, because you have to decrease pressure as it's going through the learn process on 3 of the tires. Now, I'm not sure if that's on the 12 or not, but on some of them, that's one way that they have a alternate way of learning.
Okay.
So that's...
Just a side note, and I got this the other day from somebody, when a vehicle reads 3 of the 4 sensors, but it's not reading the 4th sensor, is that typically a sensor problem, or what is that? In other words, there's just a dotted line through the 4th sensor. What does that mean?
I would typically say that's either the sensor itself has failed, the battery in it, or something like that, and the sensor would need to be replaced.
The computer's not picking it up, basically.
Exactly. Yeah, because it's just RF signal, so if it's picking up 3, it's going to pick up...
Would you dare take that pressure all the way down to 0, pump it back up, and see if it does anything, or...
Drive it over 15 miles an hour and see if it comes back.
Okay.
If it never comes back, then it's more than likely the sensor.
And maybe a dead sensor.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
That's anymore like some of the vehicles where the tires are lasting 50, 60,000 miles, the batteries will go dead in those sensors.
Sensors won't last that long.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so there's a question for you. How long is average battery life on a tire sensor?
That I'm not sure. I know personal is about 2 years on one of my vehicles, but that's we see them go a lot longer on other vehicles. So it's mine was one of the early systems, and it wasn't very good.
And some companies have gotten away from using sensors altogether, and they're just measuring rotation.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Honda, for example, just measures rotation.
Makes sense.
Through the ABS, and they know when there's a tire that's gone low that way, and that they signal it that way versus actually having a sensor in the wheel, which frankly I'm thinking, why don't they all do that?
That's the way to go. Definitely. And it would probably cost a lot less too. It's just programming. There's not an extra component there.
Thank you.
Why
didn't they do that from the get-go?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
They could have.
Yeah.
And why they all don't do that?
Yeah. That would be
guy selling sensors wants to keep selling sensors, I guess.
Yeah, right.
Anyways, you can catch us at 303-477-5600. Call us, let us know what your favorite car that you wish they'd bring back is, or you can send us an email, john@drive-radio.com. So Ken's looking up this TPMS information to see where we're at on that and see if we can get that information back out. Here's something else I had for you which I thought was interesting. And we did this once before. I started it and didn't get past one or two items, so I think we'll run through the rest of these. 11 great underappreciated features on vehicles. So, first one is automatic headlamps. This is from Car and Driver, this is from Motor Trend. Imagine or remember when you've done it leaving home after sunrise, driving to work, forgetting to turn your headlights off, then returning to a car with a dead battery. Automatic headlights, which switch on or off depending upon outside conditions, are a boon. Another handy but underappreciated feature is automatic high beams. A camera mounted behind the rearview mirror can detect approaching headlights and will switch the high beams off as the vehicle passes. There's no replacement for attentive driving, but we figure automatic high beams could save you some bad karma by not blinding other vehicles on a dark highway. And some of them don't even use high and low beams anymore. And Ken, we talked about that here a while back. They've got almost like a shade or an ability to tilt the headlamp.
The angle. Yeah, exactly.
Just tilt the whole headlamp to where it's not going to blind the person in front of you. And then as soon as that guy goes by, it automatically tilts back up and away you go.
Yeah, you're running 85 watt all the time and you just tilt it down and then gets to a certain point.
Interesting how that works.
Down. Yeah, exactly. Because the projectors and stuff, I mean, they don't shine anything over top brow. So
that's right. That's right. All right, so that's the first one. The next one, the auto-dimming mirror. The auto-dimming mirror pretty much is what the name implies and automatically darkens the rearview mirror when another vehicle's headlights are shining a bit too brightly. We've all been there. Someone has a spectacularly bright HID or LEDs. In addition to driving far too close to your rear bumper, they've gone and left their high beams on, which makes it even worse. The auto-dimming rearview mirror on a 2016 Ford Mustang is particularly enjoyable because the muscle car's lower ride height places its optimum blinding height right in the crossover world. What is normally infuriating glare and a hazard becomes a green-tinted, curiously, that driver seems to have left their high beams on. How quaint. Again, this is a Motor Trend writing this, not me. Another cool feature, and I saw one of these again this particular week. I'll show you about, or I'll talk to you about the press event I went to a little bit earlier this week in a minute. The Honda Vac, which is in the Honda Odysseys. So it's an actual internal vacuum cleaner built into the side of the Honda Odyssey. So the 2014 Honda Odyssey Touring Elite, it's a new minivan that's got, basically what they said is it sucked, literally, meaning that it had a Honda Vac was built into the side of the vehicle. It's a built-in vacuum cleaner that can make quick work of all types of spills associated with parenting and children's snacks. And that actually, here's a cool thing. I should say, here's something to note. On the Honda, vacuum is mounted in the rear. The new Chrysler Pacifica, which they're just debuting and went and saw it this past week, it's their new minivan. I'll tell you what, Chrysler has done a phenomenal job on the updates of this vehicle. Still stow-and-go seating on all seats. They've just done a fantastic job on it, and they have built it with some of their models with a built-in vacuum cleaner. What they did was they actually put it midship, figuring that you're going to have as many spills up front as you are in the back. So they put the vacuum cleaner in the middle with the ability to put a 12-foot extension hose on it and literally vacuum the entire car or your neighbor's car if you wanted to. I mean, the thing is absolutely awesome. And literally, it's got a rigid little, the brand name Rigid Shop Vac built into the side of the side panel, door panel, I should say, Ken, where you just crank up the vacuum. It's all built in, and away you go.
Yeah,
piece of cake.
Yeah,
it's got its own little filtration system, the whole 9 yards, and off you go. It's a really slick idea.
There you go. Yeah.
Which frankly, every car could have that. That's pretty cool.
Sure. Yeah, exactly.
So what'd you find out on TPMS?
Okay, so what we found, and it's kind of like we were talking about. There's turn the ignition. This is on a 2006 to 2012 Chevy Impala TPMS reset procedure. Turn the ignition switch to the accessory position, so not all the way into the on, just the accessory. Press and hold the unlock or lock button, unlock and lock button on the keyless entry transmitter. So your handheld deal.
So hold it at the same time.
Hold it at the same time until the horn sounds and the left turn signal is illuminated. Or there's a different, depending on which system you have, or using the instrument cluster, press and release the info button. Info button until tire learn message is indicated on the display. Hold down set reset button until the sound of the left turn signal is horn sounds and the left turn signal is illuminated.
Got it.
Starting with the left front tire, increase or decrease the tire pressure until the horn sounds. And once that does, after the horn sounds, proceed to step 4. Basically, go start at the left front, go to the right front, go to the right rear, and then after completing the left rear, the horn will sound twice, turn the ignition switch off, and it's relearned the position.
So it knows him at that point.
Yeah. Yep.
Interesting.
Yep. So,
okay.
And that's kind of the way a lot of the GMs without the special scan tool or things like that.
You can make
you
them
can do
relearn.
it yourself. Yeah.
Okay. So what I'll do on that one too, just to make sure we get that information out properly, is I'll have Ken email me that. I'll then just forward that on to make sure you can read some of that yourself, so you know exactly how to do that, because that's not.
It's not an easy thing.
No, it's not an easy process.
Because I forgot the first step.
Exactly.
So
if you don't do that one right, you're not going to get any of them right.
Right. When some of them use the headlight switch, there's just different ways, but that was for the Impala.
All right, halfway through Drive Radio today on this particular Saturday, Mother's Day weekend, by the way. So, guys, gals, hopefully you've got yourself handled for Mother's Day. You've got all your dinner reservations made. Everything's taken care of. Happy Mother's Day to all you mothers that are out there. And we appreciate all of the sacrifices and things that you have done for us. And we got lines open, by the way. I should have said that earlier, 303-477-5600. Any questions you've got? What's a vehicle you'd like to see brought back that they don't build anymore? We'll be right back. Drive Radio coming your way, KLZ 560.
Hello, Drive Radio listeners. This is Chris Hammond with Ken's and Leslie Distributing, your local BG products distributor. Back this week with your BG Tech Tip. This week, we're going to talk about gasoline. Did you know that when crude oil is refined, the raw hydrocarbons are cracked into smaller, more usable chains, such as methane, propane, butane, and among others, octane. The octane string has 8 carbon atoms chained together and is the most resistant fuel to spontaneous combustion under compression. Why does that matter? Well, when you fill up your gas tank, you may have several options for gasoline to purchase. Those options are represented by numbers corresponding to an octane rating. This rating indicates the percentage of that gasoline that is comprised of the 8 carbon chain known as octane. So, is a higher octane gas a better gas? Not necessarily. It is important to use the octane rating recommended for your car by the manufacturer. In some cases, cars may develop a knock or ping caused by early detonation even when using the recommended octane. There are a number of causes for this knock, but oftentimes the combustion chamber deposits cause an increase in the compression ratio, thus causing lower octane gas to ignite while the piston is still in the compression stroke, which we call a knock. Oftentimes, a top-tier fuel system cleaner like the BG44K can remove these combustion chamber deposits and eliminate the knock and your need to spend more money on higher octane gas. So the moral of the story, use the octane fuel best suited for your car. Thank you, Drive Radio listeners. Happy to be back this week, and we'll talk again next week.
Geno's with a J is your go-to auto service shop in Littleton for all your car care needs. Needing an oil change? Take advantage of Geno's premium $29.95 oil change and receive a free set of windshield wipers with the mention of this ad. See store for details. Brakes, alignments, or car maintenance. Geno's does it all. In business over 32 years, Geno's offers courtesy vehicles while your car is being serviced. They are conveniently located at Bowles and Platte Canyon in Littleton. Visit them online at GenosAutoservice.com. That's Geno's with a J.
Know-how! Let's talk about noise pollution. Noise pollution caused by, AKA worn down, unsafe brakes. At Napa, we're doing our part to stop noise pollution. by giving you up to a $50 Visa rebate card by mail on qualifying brake purchases. New brakes, money back, and the promise that you'll hear a lot less. That's Napa Know-How. At participating Napa Auto Parts stores while supplies last. Offer expires 5/31/16.
Driving around the neighborhood, I see guys working on their cars, probably saving some money by doing their own spring tune-ups. You don't have to be a gearhead to do simple maintenance on your car. You just need someone to show you how. Extreme Auto Repair Parker has their annual spring maintenance car care clinic coming up on Saturday, May 7th from 10 a.m. to noon. It's free, and you'll be learning simple car care procedures that you can do yourself. Sign up today for this free money-saving clinic by calling 303-841-1071. They always go to the extreme for you at Extreme Auto Repair Parker.
Every car has a transmission, and every transmission needs servicing, but most drivers ignore their transmission. Don't fix what ain't broke, as they say. Larry.
And you know that Scott pre-recorded today, right?
Transmission and driveline repair facility. And they'll tell you that most of the expensive repairs they do could easily have been avoided with regular scheduled maintenance. Maybe they were told by a mechanic that their transmission fluid was getting dark, or maybe there was a slight hesitation between gears. Whatever the case, they are now faced with expensive repairs. Larry's technicians are ATRA and ASE certified, and their warranty covers you even if you're out of town. And while there's nobody better for transmission repair than Larry's Automotive, the truth is, they would have preferred to do the preventive maintenance instead. Larry's Automotive and Transmission Repair, the Driveline Pros on Bradburn Boulevard in Westminster. Call 303-427-2108. 303-427-2108.
This is ASE Automotive Professional Pam Oaks, and it's time to take a 60-second break and make you a savvy car consumer. It's time to learn a little bit about your auto. There's a difference between engine coolant and the stuff that keeps your vehicle's air conditioning cool. Coolant, also known as antifreeze, circulates and maintains proper engine operating temperature. Coolant is a serviceable item. Air conditioning systems provide you cool air complements of Freon. This is not a serviceable item. It stays installed until an AC component
10 seconds, guys.
replaced. Lesson learned. Want to learn more about your vehicle? Visit me at CarCareForTheClueless.com, making you a savvy car consumer.
And this is John Rush Drive Radio, KLZ 560. Ken Rackley also with me. Lines are full. As soon as somebody drops off, call us. We'll get you right on air. 303-477-5600. Jerry and Greeley, you are next. What's going on, sir?
Hey, just trying to think outside the box here on cars I'd like to see come back. And kind of as a joke, but with today's technologies, how about the Vega and the Pinto?
The Vega and the Pinto.
when John first said that, my first car was a Vega, and I was thinking, would I bring that car back? The hatchback was kind of cool. And
Vega with a V8.
Yeah, that's what I had. So it was, built it and stuff.
Vega V8, not bad.
Yeah, and
with a 302.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they were a fun.
I had a 72 Pinto back in the day. So
yeah. Yep, exactly. And a little two-door. They had the wagons too. And yeah, exactly.
I don't know. It's just kind of a spoof for the day.
You're right. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
That was my first thought too.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, it was a question.
That's right.
Yeah.
Appreciate you calling, Jerry. Have a great afternoon.
Thanks.
We thank you very much for that. Let's go to Chuck and Elizabeth, who's next. Chuck, welcome, sir.
Thank you. I've got a 1999 Toyota 4Runner, and the heater and air conditioning, the controls and that, it sometimes air comes on, sometimes heat comes on. You can't shut it off, you can't turn it on. It just does what it wants to do. I went to a Toyota dealer in Parker, and they just took one look and they said, you got to put a new one in, which is $700.
A new one what?
The whole heater control, they said.
Okay. So a heater control assembly?
Yeah, sometimes the air conditioner will just come on. You can't shut it off. You can't regulate the temperature. Yeah, sometimes it's warm. Sometimes I just like to be able to shut the doggone thing off, like right now.
Got it.
Yeah, with the electronic controls along those lines, that's kind of what it sounds like anyway. But might be your only.
You think there's?
I just wonder if there's a shop or somebody you know that might work on something like that.
Dennis, probably, because you're in Elizabeth.
Yeah, possibly. Dennis could take a peek at that and just see if there's anything that could be done with it. He knows Toyotas very well, so that'd be a good idea. It'd be a good first shot to see what it needs. And if it does need a control assembly put in, he can do that for you too, as easily as a Toyota dealer can, and save you money.
He's
in Parker. We know he's in Parker. 10274 South Ransfeld Road in Parker.
Okay, I'll try him.
Yeah, give him a call. Tell him what you got going on. Have him take a peek at it. He can do that.
Yeah, you bet.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Appreciate that, Chuck. Yeah, those those are frustrating problems, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. You know,
you use it all the time.
You're right. You need it one way or the other.
Exactly.
You know? And if it doesn't work when you need it, and
anything that doesn't work is frustrating, but especially heater, defroster, all that, that's really frustrating.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
You need that to work. So let's go to Bob, who's next in Denver. Bob, welcome.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
A favorite car I would like back, a 71 CUDA. And that almost came to pass a couple years ago when Chrysler announced SRT was going to be a separate division.
Right.
One of the cars they were going to bring back was a CUDA. And they had a custom car shop here in town, built two concepts, a coupe and a convertible. And I don't know why they didn't bring them back. It's been pretty easy because, of course, they got the Challenger, which is...
Yeah, they could use the same chassis that the Challenger's on pretty easily.
Exactly. And they just put the styling cues from the CUDA on it.
Right, sure.
I've actually seen pictures of the convertible. Guy here in town owns it, and my son had a couple pictures of it.
You're talking the concept car, you mean?
Correct. He
Really?
has a convertible. Yeah, he has
that's
a convertible concept car. And but CUDA, my favorite car. The only new car I've ever owned, a 383 4-speed. That back in the day, you went to the dealership and sat down with a salesman and checked off the boxes or the way you wanted it built. And 2 weeks later, your car showed up.
Yep.
And then I've kind of collected them myself since then. I've got two right now. I've
good for you.
3. But I sure wish they would have brought.
That'd be cool.
Back.
No, I agree with you on that one. That's another car that sort of like the Chevelle. It would not be much. It wouldn't take much to bring that car back at all.
Exactly, and it'd be very popular, just like like the Mustangs and the Camaro.
I agree. They've done very well with the Challenger. They've made money on the Challenger.
Oh gosh, yes, and any of them, anything they've brought back with a retro styling has been real popular.
You're right. They've point taken. They've made good money on those cars. Nothing wrong with that. Also, it's really brought some of those companies back to life. Frankly, I think.
Yeah, no kidding. It made them much more popular.
It really has. No joke. It's been a great advertisement for them. Here's the other thing. Even if they didn't make any money on the car, what they sold in other cars by people coming to the dealership was well worth them doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to come and look at that.
Exactly.
And, here, I like this instead.
Yep.
Right.
It's exactly how it works. You know that. A guy comes in there to buy a Challenger, figures out he can't afford it, so he buys a Dart and he leaves. Off you go.
Yeah, it goes over the neon.
Done deal. I mean, that's how it works. We all know that's how it works.
Yeah.
And a side note, I called a couple weeks ago when everybody was talking car movies, and I had to drop off before I got on air. Everybody was talking about the movie Point Blank.
Right.
And at the very end of that movie, when they smashed the car into the bulldozer, they couldn't destroy a beloved Challenger. That was actually a Camaro.
Oh, that's
Camaro.
right. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Sure enough. Yeah. Awesome. Good stuff. Good stuff. I appreciate that. Thanks, Bob.
You betcha.
Have a great afternoon. We appreciate it very much. Freeman, you are next. What's going on, sir?
Well, you were talking about your favorite automobiles.
Yes, sir.
I got a new Chevy pickup with a deluxe cab.
Okay.
I got it new in 1953.
Oh, wow.
I would sure wish I could do that all over again.
Yeah, sir. Yeah,
And,
I hear that one. Those were good looking trucks, by the way. Those are some of the best looking trucks of that era they built, period, I think.
I think so too. I sure like that pickup.
Yep.
Well, one problem, I was going I was in the Army and I went to Europe. Well, I went back in the Army.
Okay.
And I couldn't take the pickup with me.
Oh, boy. So what'd you do?
So I got a 55 Chevy station wagon and had to get rid of my pickup. But I would sure like if anybody, well, I paid $12.75 for it.
$12.75.
Wow. $12.75 for a brand new deluxe cab Chevy pickup.
And the deluxe cab had the extra windows in the back, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
and the corners.
And they had the corner windows. That's
Like
right.
a five window.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And it had corner each side had a corner.
That's right.
Window.
Yep.
I sure love that pickup. And
push button starter on the floor.
Yeah.
Yep. To the right of the gas pedal, you push the button to get it to start.
That's right. You had to put your right foot on that and your left foot on the gas.
That's
pedal to
exactly
pump it.
right. That's exactly
right.
how you did. You used your heel to pump the gas and your toe to start it.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
I wonder, do they even have, do people even have 53 Chevy pickups anymore?
Boy, there's a few around, not many. As you can tell, I grew up around one of those. I wouldn't have known that much about that vehicle otherwise, because I was born way after that. But I knew enough about all those to, had spent plenty of time in the cab one of those. Let's just say that. I don't know, Freeman. I don't know too many guys that own one today. I'm sure there's still some around, but they're getting fewer and far between, I'm guessing.
Well, a guy that I worked with, when he found out that I had to trade my Chevy, my pickup off, for a vehicle to go to Europe.
Right.
He run down and bought it.
Yeah, I'm sure he did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure he
Well,
did.
that was my favorite.
That'd be a good.
vehicle.
That's a good looking truck. Freeman, appreciate you calling so much. We need to take a break. Appreciate your service to our country, also, Freeman. Really appreciate guys like you. Because of guys like you, we have freedom to even be on the radio and talk like we do today. I appreciate it very, very much.
Well, thank you much.
You're very welcome, Freeman. Thank you.
I appreciate your program.
You're very welcome. Thank you, Freeman, for all your support. Freeman's listened for a long time, and I appreciate him very, very much, and I mean that sincerely. All you vets out there, what you guys did for us, great sacrifices made for us.
Hey, John, just for your information, that $12.75 in 1953 today would be $11,156.25.
Nah, okay.
Yeah.
That's still a pretty good buy for a pickup truck. There you go. All right, Michael, hang tight. We're not going anywhere. We'll come right back. We've got lines open. What's your favorite car that you'd like to see him bring back? Or any questions you've got for us. We've got Ken Rackley here from Tune Tech. We'll answer all of those questions, and we'll be back right after this. John Rush, Drive Radio, KLZ 560.
Know-how! Your car may have aged well, but its AM/FM setup isn't the technological wonder it used to be. So get with the times and pick up a Bluetooth car kit at Napa for $14.99. It attaches to your visor and keeps your hands free from holding your phone. That's $14.99 for a Bluetooth car kit and a way to bring your ride into the 21st century. That's Napa Know-how. At participating Napa Auto Parts stores while supplies last. Offer expires 5/31/16.
In a flash, from out of nowhere, your whole life can change forever. It happened so quickly, nobody saw it coming. Soon the medical bills will be arriving.
Will insurance cover your injuries? Does the other driver have assets? Should I sue?
It was his fault after all. After an accident, you need to call the law offices of Flesh Law. Flesh Law will never settle until you are fully compensated for your injuries.
Call 303-806-8886 for the Flesh Law Firm. 303-806-8886. Online, go to fleshlawfirm.com.
Flesh Law, the trial-tested, trial-ready attorneys.
Hey, Northern Colorado. The sisters from Community Auto here. Just letting you know we got your back. We have a happy family here at Community Auto and would love for you to be a part. We've come a long way since opening shop more than 20 years ago. Thanks, Dad. As Small Business of the Year 2015, featured in Parts and People and among the top shops in Colorado, we'd like to thank you for trusting us with your vehicle. With our new customer loyalty program, you can earn rewards dollars and free services like oil changes and transmission flushes. Like us a lot? Refer a friend, and we'll give you $50. It's that easy. Auto repair doesn't have to be painful. Actually, with us, it's pretty fun. We know that a happy car will get you far, so we'll fix and maintain yours with a smile. We're fun, fresh, and good at what we do. Call us today or visit us at communityautoinc.com. We'd love to meet you.
Things you should know. Your address, your phone number, your wife's birthday, where your keys are, and your credit score. What? You don't know what it is? Or are you just too afraid to say it out loud? For those of you that have pristine credit and are proud of it, good job. High five. You worked hard for that, but the rest of us might have slipped up a time or two and have bad credit, or maybe have even declared bankruptcy. Buying things like a car may be very difficult, if not impossible. But Mike Lather at Bankruptcy Autos is your friend that will get you back in the driver's seat. He will handle all the paperwork for you and even arrange financing. For those of us that are worrying about how we will ever be able to purchase a car, Mike Lather with Bankruptcy Auto is the way to go. Give him a ring at 720.
I was telling him, it keeps this is like the second time in 4 years. That's my biggest problem with this car. It's only on the driver's side, and I don't even use the back window. And the passenger side is completely fine, but I keep going back to Honda to get it replaced. I'm like, I need something's wrong, because if it's only on that side.
Special design requires special maintenance to keep it carbon-free and free of costly repair. BG Products has the most current and effective GDI maintenance available in over 20,000 shops, and is one more reason service managers recommend BG 3-to-1 over all others. Find a shop near you at bgfindashop.com. If you own a GDI engine and you want it to last, remember 2 more letters, BG. BG.
And this is Drive Radio. John Rush, your host, Ken Rackley from Tune Tech over here in the Aurora area. We've got lines open, 303-477-5600. You can send us your email also, John at drive-radio.com. Some of you that will be listening on Sunday, I should have mentioned this earlier. Those of you listening on Sunday, you're free to call, but nobody's here to answer.
Right.
So if you call, that's great, but no one's answering. If you want to send an email on a Sunday, not a problem. We'll answer those questions. It's John at drive-radio.com, or just go to our website, drive-radio.com, and find all the sponsors we've got, all of our member shops. Everything is listed there. It's really easy. All of our car reviews, everything we do, it's right on the website. Makes it really easy, including all the podcasts of our past show. They're right there for you. You can pick them up. They're there. Easy. The homepage even has last week's show automatically on there, so it makes it really easy to find us that way. Michael and Cheyenne, you're next, sir.
Good morning.
Morning.
This is just a car I'd like to see Ford bring back. I'd like to see them bring back a real Thunderbird, not that crappy thing they brought back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of the last retro-ish Thunderbird they brought back, and it didn't sell super well. So whatever they did on that car, it didn't go over super well. Let's just say that.
Well, didn't they just put a shell over like a Taurus frame or something with the drivetrain and everything?
I'm not a Ford guy, so I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what that would have been really, because it was a little bit smaller wheelbase wise than the Taurus, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure.
It didn't have any performance or anything to it.
No, they didn't. You're right.
The Thunderbird, it should have been a nice little hot, fun car to drive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
just like a grandma's car.
Yeah, I don't think they. To your point, I don't know what chassis they put under that. It had a 3.9 liter V6. There wasn't anything fancy about the car at all.
Yeah, right. So I'd like to see them redo it, just like they did the new Mustang. I mean, make it a nice, sporty car.
Yeah, they could do that.
Yeah. What year Thunderbird?
Oh God, I don't know. I liked all the early ones.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just looked that up. That later car was based on the Ford DEW platform, whatever that is.
Okay. Oh well.
Not sure.
Did not get good reviews. Nobody.
The DEW platform was meant to express an intermediate size between D and E class vehicles, and the W denoted a worldwide platform. It was used by both Ford and Jaguar and Lincoln. For example, the Jaguar XF, the less expensive variant known as the DEW Lite was also used on the 2005 Ford Mustang. So that car was built on that DEW platform. So several vehicles shared the platform. Believe it or not, that's interesting. I did not know that. They sure didn't do much engine wise on to make it very, very peppy. I agree with you there. It was not a peppy vehicle by any means.
Right. Yeah.
Had the retro styling, but and it didn't do very well sales wise. By the way.
All righty, guys. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Yeah, that car. I guess you can almost say, maybe you couldn't say that it was a flop, but it didn't do very well.
Yeah, definitely an acquired.
Yeah.
market.
So the related cars to it were the Jaguar S-Type, Lincoln LS, Jaguar XF.
Oh, okay.
Which, if they had those other cars, why didn't they put a real engine in it?
Yeah, well, on the LS they had two engine options, the 3.9, and was that the biggest one, or there must have been a bigger one
on the LS?
Yeah, because that 3.9 was a V8 too, wasn't it?
It wasn't a small V8.
Yeah, small V8, and I'm just trying to think of the ones we've had in.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
I don't know. I don't know the Lincoln. Yeah, again, I'm not a Ford guy. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know the Ford side of the fence as well as I do some of the others. So I don't know on that one at all.
Yeah, and we don't see a lot of the LS, but we see a number of them, and
I don't think it sold very well either.
You're right, exactly.
Wasn't a big mover,
and it's kind of a European, design in the front, and,
right? Yeah, you're right. It is.
The platform under there, so it's definitely got the rear wheel drive, so it's definitely different.
All right, got a few minutes left of this hour. 303-477-5600. Let me go back to some of the 11 underappreciated items on vehicles. I should say underappreciated features. I should say is a better way to say that. Heads-up display.
Mm-hmm.
I'd agree with that. In fact, I don't know why we don't have more heads-up displays. Period. It looks to me like it's a great way to get people's eyes on the road rather than all over the rest of the inside of the vehicle.
Yeah. I've never really driven a car with that.
They work very well. Mazda, for example, even their little cars, they've got a little flip-up heads-up display. It doesn't go on the windshield. It goes on a little screen in front of you. Works fantastic.
Okay.
All of your radio info, all the pertinent information you need, speed limit, etc., all right in front of you. It's a piece of cake. I don't know why we don't do more of it, to be honest with you. All right, Russ, let's get you in before the top of the hour. What's going on, sir?
How's it going?
Good.
I'm thinking, caveat to the car thing is obviously we want modern drivetrain and everything.
Right.
I want the handling with the nice bodies.
Thank you. We were just talking about that through the commercial break. Yes.
The only problem that I see is they bring back these retro cars and they make them so expensive you can't afford them.
That's part of it.
Yeah.
The HHR in the beginning, it wasn't too bad of a looking truck. But back when they came out, they were $25,000 more than an average truck.
Was it HHR or HHS?
SSR.
SSR.
There you go.
Yeah, that's
and the Thunderbird, when it came out, it was like $55,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was, late 90s? I mean, it was... So cost-wise, it just prohibits you buying anything like that.
Yeah, and again, part of that they have to do because they're planning on such a low production that they've planned that in so they can actually make the truck, so they can make the thing work. Otherwise, you wouldn't have it at all.
Yeah, if I had my choice, like a 50 Merc.
Okay.
If you can get one where it's not all jacked up.
Yeah.
Those are. I've got a sweet spot for a Mercury.
Lead sleds, those are called.
Yeah, I just like them. I think they're a really nice body. The 49 Chevy trucks, I really like those too.
Yeah, those are good looking trucks too. Yeah, that kind of goes back to our last caller a minute ago. That 49 to whatever it was, 54, I think was the last year they did them. Yeah, good looking.
Yeah, I always like the 5-window.
Yep, agreed. But that was an option, by the way. You could get the 5-window all the way up to 54 too.
But I didn't know that. I thought the 5-window went out in 52. I thought.
Nope, no, you could get a 5-window all the way up to the end.
There you go. Just don't break the glass. They're expensive.
Exactly. There you go.
Yeah.
So, Okay.
Hey, good stuff, Russ. I appreciate it very much. All right, Cage. You know what? Let's see. We can probably talk to Cage for just a minute. Cage, we're running up against the break. We'll at least get your question started. I may have to hold you over through the news. What's going on?
How you guys doing?
Doing great.
Good. Hey, so I'm rebuilding an '89 K5 Blazer, and obviously I've probably spent way more money than it's even worth. What do they go for? Like completely restored? And I mean top to bottom, everything is brand new in this thing.
What year is it again?
An '89.
89. So it's the newer body style, or no? That's 89 would be the old body style, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't do a newer body style one. It's a waste of time.
89 is so that's the last. Make sure I'm saying that right. Is that no? They did that up to 91, right? So that's the
91.
Yeah, they went all the way to 91. Yeah, that's a great question. They're not bringing as much money as like the 73 to 80s are, but they're doing fairly well, and I think you're going to see them continue to go up. But they definitely at this point are not what I consider collectors. They're not a collector's car at this point.
Right. Okay. When here's a stupid question for you. Does it eventually become a classic after 30 years, or what's the benchmark for that?
The benchmark is this. So we went from the 69 to 72s, and once you start running out of supply, the classic side of the fence just gets pushed up automatically. Now what's happened is 73 to 80 is getting to be a classic because there's there's less availability of that 69 to 72, 73 to 80 is the next. Once the 73 to 80s become more scarce, then it's your turn.
Right, and I don't know that it'll ever go past that because then they start.
It will not. It will not. I don't think it'll ever go past what you have.
Right. All right, man. Thank you.
You know, I'm seeing some of those 89 Blazers starting at like 14,000.
Coming back. They are, but they're not up into that 30, 40 grand range. So, we got to go to the news. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Third hour Drive Radio coming up next, KLZ 560.
Still haven't had enough? Go to drive-radio.com. Email your questions and comments. Download previous programs and find lots of useful information, including your nearest Colorado Select Auto Care Center. That's drive-radio.com. Thanks for listening to Drive Radio, sponsored by the member shops of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers on KLZ 560.
Drive Radio is a presentation of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers. The independently owned and operated shops of Colorado Select hold each other accountable for the highest standards of technical expertise, honesty, and professionalism. They all understand that choosing a mechanic is risky business, so Colorado Select was created by this exclusive group of like-minded professionals who are dedicated to raising the level of consumer confidence in Colorado's auto repair industry. Schedule your next oil change at any of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers heard on Drive Radio, and you'll immediately see the difference. For the complete list of all the member shops in the state, visit drive-radio.com.
John Rush during the afternoon rush, weekdays from 3 to 6 on KLZ 560.
John Rush here. On the next Rush to Reason, the U.S. Department of Justice is threatening action against North Carolina for legislating that men use the men's room and women use the women's room. Unbelievable. Chris Gasek, senior fellow with the Family Research Council, will explain how North Carolina can fight back. Traffic and weather updates with Dan Muir. And, of course, we'll take all of your calls. That's Denver's Afternoon Rush, Rush to Reason, every weekday from 3 to 7 p.m. right here on KLZ 560.
You're listening to The Source in more ways than one. AM 560 KLZ Denver, KLZ HD Denver, and KLZ FM 100.7. Simulcasting on KLDC Denver and KLDC HD Denver, AM 1220, and KLDC FM 95.3. Online at 560thesource.com.
USA Radio News with Joe Gomez.
Donald Trump is bringing up former President Bill Clinton's sex scandals and his attacks against Hillary Clinton. At a rally in Eugene, Oregon, a likely Republican nominee claimed Hillary Clinton enabled her husband's extramarital affairs while he was in office.
And she was a total enabler. She would go after these women and destroy their lives. I mean, have you ever read what Hillary Clinton did to the women that Bill Clinton had affairs with?
And is playing the woman's card.
Because honestly, without that card, she would get nobody voting for her. Nobody.
He also called Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren a basket case.
I think that Hillary should run with goofy Elizabeth Warren.
Thousands are being forced to flee raging wildfires in Alberta, Canada. 4,000 people are scheduled to be relocated south today. Nearly 90,000 people have been forced from their homes. This is USA Radio News.
I'm Sean Hare, the site director at ConservativeTribune.com. Conservative Tribune is one of the most visited news sites in the world, and the reason is simple. ConservativeTribune.com delivers edgy and bold commentary of the news every day. We are unapologetically pro-America, unabashedly conservative. At ConservativeTribune.com, we don't make apologies for who we are or what we say. If you're looking for more than boring stories and simple thought, visit ConservativeTribune.com. That's ConservativeTribune.com.
Have you been to ConservativeTribune.com? Now, this is one of the most visited news sites in the entire world, and the reason is simple. ConservativeTribune.com delivers edgy and bold commentary of the news. They're unapologetically pro-America, unabashedly conservative. At ConservativeTribune.com, they don't make apologies for who they are or what they say. And if you're looking for more than just boring stories and simple thought, you go to ConservativeTribune.com. That's ConservativeTribune.com.
KLZ Denver.
John Rush during the afternoon rush, weekdays from 3 to 6 on KLZ 560.
It's a mighty fancy automobile. Oh, she's a real road king, all right. 0 to 60 in 7.5. She'll do a quarter mile, 13.40. 390 horsepower, 500 foot-pounds of torque. Whatever that is. Performance and image is what it's all about.
There's no such thing as a stupid question. This is Drive Radio. All of your automotive questions are just one phone call away. 303-477-5600. Drive Radio is made possible by the member shops of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers. To find one near you, go to drive-radio.com. Now, Drive Radio on KLZ 560.
And this is Drive Radio, third hour. John Rush, your host. Ken Rackley from TuneTech is with us. If you're listening on a Sunday, which will be Mother's Day, by the way, happy Mother's Day to everybody. And if you're listening on Mother's Day, you're welcome to call, but no one's here to answer. So if you want to email us a comment, a question, anything along those lines, go to drive-radio.com and send us an email, or john@drive-radio.com. Either one of those works. So finishing up our last caller, 89 K5 Blazer value. Ken, you did a little bit of research as we were going into the top of the hour there. And these are asking prices.
Right. Exactly.
You never know what they're selling for. What are you finding?
And these, I saw low, and these look, pretty decent where they look nicely redone, not anything lifted or anything like that. But, they actually look real decent, and they, were starting at about 12.5 and went up to like 24.5. So it was, it just really depends on the buyer. I think what somebody's looking for and things like that. So that was, I'm trying to think of the site, Cars for Sale. So that was nationwide too. So
Got it.
But it came up with a couple anyway.
The old Blazers are still bringing the most money. What I mean by that, 69 to 72s, for example, on Hemmings. Now, this is a resto mod, which means it's going to have all sorts of custom stuff done to the vehicle. I mean, it'll have new engine. It'll probably have a high horsepower engine. It'll have custom transmission, custom axles, all that sort of stuff. This particular vehicle, they are asking $50,000 for.
Okay.
So sort of tells you where those early Blazers, Jimmys, some of those things are going. And again, this one's all custom. It's had a bunch of stuff done to it, and it's basically like buying a brand new vehicle, but it's $50,000.
Right.
So now it's got a late model fuel injected. Looks like it's got like a 5.3, engine in it, things like that. So I mean, it's basically like buying a new truck, only it's old.
Yeah, you're right.
It looks old.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but and they're $50,000. So it just kind of shows you where some of those old ones are going. So I've got a couple emails I'll read to you. Also, we've got calls coming in. Lines are open, 303-477-5600. So I'd love to have, this comes from KH. love to have GM and Harley Earl bring back the 53 Skylark, not the 54, because that one was built on a Roadmaster chassis, but a 53. So 53 Skylark, which, by the way, 53 Skylarks are worth a small fortune. So, yeah, 53 Skylarks are worth a ton of money. So what's your favorite car you'd love to see brought back if they could? I also have another long email I'll read to you here in just 1 second. So hang tight. We'll get to that one in just 1 second. Mike, I believe, is up next. Mike, welcome. What's going on, sir?
Hey, I had a comment on the K5 Blazer and restoration in general. You know, a lot of this, you know, when I look at, and I love to look at old cars, and I've collected a few, a great deal of that, he said he was restoring the whole thing, and that, you know, what does that mean? Is that a frame off with original bolts, original alternator? Even, I mean, it's getting so technical, you got the original belts with the markings on them.
Yeah, it depends on, you know, that's a great question, Mike, and it really boils down to, you know, whose definition, who are you talking to, who's doing it, and so on, because some guys will say, well, I'm restoring the whole thing. Well, to your point, Mike, what does that mean? Are you pulling body off frame? Are you going through the whole 9 yards? Are you doing all new body mounts? Are you going through everything, engine, transmission, drivetrain, the whole 9 yards? Or is it simply a beautification process you're going through?
That's right. That's my point. That's a amazing range, and it's priced there, you know, based on that sometimes.
They are.
Obviously.
Yeah, and the frame-off restorations, just for everybody listening, and Ken and I were talking about this through one of the breaks, those are the best ones to buy because typically the guys can't get the amount of money out of them for what they've invested. In other words, some of these guys on a full frame-off restoration, whether they do it themselves or they have somebody do it, you're over $100K. By the time you're done doing a full frame-off restoration. And a lot of times you can buy those cars for, I'm not exaggerating, 40 to 60 grand on the secondary market. And if you can buy a full frame-off for that kind of money, why would you do it yourself?
Yeah.
You wouldn't. I was just about to say, you just hit the nail on the head. That was my other point, is 90% of these full frame-off, all original restorations, you'll spend a ton more than you'll ever get out of the car.
And a lot of guys do it because it's a project, it's a love of the vehicle, they've got money. No offense, some of the guys have money to blow, money to spend. I'm not being critical. It's just the simple market of how it works. It's like big custom homes. Guys will go out and spend, you know, millions of dollars on custom homes and put things in it that the next guy doesn't care, isn't ever going to use. And when they go to sell it, they cannot get their full value out of it because they've just done things that are far beyond what somebody else is willing to spend money on.
That's right. It's a simple labor of love. And you look at it, and it's the ones that I've seen that are done that are just amazing are wealthy guys that it's or semi that it's frankly a total and complete labor of love.
That's right.
On another point on your technology, the motor trend, the 11 different things we take for granted. You guys know this full well. There is a ton of the technology in today's cars, and there'll be people on the air that'll say, you know, bring back the old stuff. This stuff is way too crazy. But you have to understand suspension, brakes, motors.
The
cars these days are absolutely stunning.
They're phenomenal.
How good they are.
They're phenomenal.
They're phenomenal.
Yeah, you will not find me as one of these guys, and I argue sometimes with some older individuals that I know on a routine basis. I'm not a guy that says bring the old stuff back, as I, like you, understand you know, where we're at today, the fact a car will run 300,000 to 400,000 miles with really not a lot of effort to make that happen. In the old days, some of these cars we're talking about, they wouldn't go 40,000 miles without doing a lot of work to them.
Yeah, it's the technology. I mean, you don't realize what goes into the braking when you hit the brakes.
That's exactly right.
In the morning, these things are the space shuttle has nothing on these cars.
No, you're exactly right. No, you are 100% correct. They work phenomenal. They're safer. They'll go from A to B with never a thought process in the middle of that. You know, you can hop in a car and run coast to coast. In the old days, you had to determine where to stop along the way just in case there was a problem. Most likely, you were going to have a problem.
Yeah.
Anyway, listen, great show.
Appreciate it, Mike. Thanks so much for your phone call. Let's go to David, who's next. David, welcome.
Hi, guys. I always enjoy the show. One that's kind of an underrated retro that would be kind of fun if they could do it, pull it off, would be the old Cougar series, 67, 68, identical. Outside of
Grew up with a friend of mine that had a 70 Cougar. Yeah, you know what? We had a lot of fun in that car. That was a great car, ran good, sort of a sleeper. You know, that everybody went out and bought Mustangs and all of that side of the fence, and very few people owned the Cougar side, or the Mercury side, I should say. And some of those Cougars ran extremely well.
Yep, I grew up with the 67. It was the XR7 series, which was the luxury, and it always rode better than the Mustang. We took it cross country. But a quick funny story, because it's Mother's Day. My mother died 30 years ago.
That's too bad.
And back in the 80s, I restored the car. I did a cosmetic. We're talking about restoration. I restored the whole body on it because it had some dates, and so I had it repainted and did a nice job on it.
Okay.
But I didn't hop it up much. I had dual exhaust on it, and I had a speed shift kit on the C4 automatic, so I could scratch second gear by just. I thought it was quick, and I'd run down the road and just pop second gear and give you a whiplash almost.
Yep.
So the point of it is, in the early days of that motor, all the bolts that held all the pulleys on sheared off, literally. I mean, all the pulleys flew off on my mother one day. She hated the car because of that. Well, I went away to college, came back, had the car restored, and I was parked behind her in the driveway. She said, "Can I take your Cougar?" I go, "Sure." She rocketed that car down the street. She was a platinum blonde, and she came back. She goes, "I love that car." And you could just hear her. She was a speedster, is what she was.
That's hilarious.
So,
yeah.
but the old Cougars, the styling was different. You had to like it, but the sequential motor turn signals.
They were cool.
Put it on that T-Bird.
They were cool.
And I put it to that, and I brought it back now in the new Mustang. So it's kind of it's got some neat features.
No, I did.
So,
no. Like I said,
guys.
I grew up in high school with a car like that, and had a lot of fun in it. It was a great car. They were a little bit tough to work on in regards to the towers. You know, the way the front suspension came up, the struts and such in the front. You know, the suspension towers, I should say, inside the hood. That was one of the things that was sort of a Ford moniker, I guess you could say. A lot of them had that and made them a little bit harder to work on as far as that goes. Chevrolets were easier to work on because you just didn't have all that stuff that you had to work around.
Yeah.
Why did Ford do the suspension that way? Any ideas?
Chevy 2 was kind of the same
They
way.
were, but then they got away from it.
Yeah, exactly.
They went to a different front end. To his point, though, riding in a Cougar versus a Mustang, there was no comparison. The Cougars were much smoother, much more manageable, I guess you could say, to drive, yet, frankly, ran about as well as the Mustangs did in the day.
Interesting.
Yeah, they worked pretty well.
I don't think I ever drove a Cougar.
You never drove one?
Drove a lot of Mustangs.
It was interesting. Yeah, they were good cars. All right, let's do this. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. Lines are open, 303-477-5600. If there's a car you could bring back, what would it be? And or what questions do you have for us? Anything you've got, we'll answer it. 303-477-5600. Drive Radio. John Rush, your host, KLZ 560.
When there's no place to charge your dead phone, withdrawals start. Withdrawals from tweeting, checking email, and watching how-to videos. So keep it charged with a portable power supply for $14.99 in Napa. For $14.99, this portable power supply charges any USB-powered device, preventing you from living in a world where you can't post selfies of you with your truck. That's Napa know-how. At participating Napa Auto Parts stores while supplies last. Offer expires 5/31/16.
Geno's with a J is your go-to auto service shop in Littleton for all your car care needs. Needing an oil change? Take advantage of Geno's premium $29.95 oil change and receive a free set of windshield wipers with the mention of this ad. See store for details. Brakes, alignments, or car maintenance. Geno's does it all. In business over 32 years, Geno's offers courtesy vehicles while your car is being serviced. They are conveniently located at Bowles and Platte Canyon in Littleton. Visit them online at genosautoservice.com. That's Geno's with a J.
When you've been in a fender bender or accident, you need to get your car repaired quickly by top-notch experts that know your car. Don't mess around with the cumbersome national auto body chains where you have no idea as to who is working on your car. Denver Collision Experts is a locally owned auto collision repair facility that will give you that personal touch you deserve. They'll help you in dealing with your insurance company and get you back on the road quickly without skimping on quality. Denver Collision Experts are Denver's experts in auto body repair. Call Denver Collision Experts today at 303-761-0955
303-761-0955 or check them out at denvercollision.com. Be sure to tell them Drive Radio sent you.
At Lone Tree Veterinary Medical Center, we believe that all pets deserve to have a good life. And because we know that your pet will have many different needs throughout its life, we offer complete pet care services. Whether your furry friend needs a checkup, vaccinations, boarding, grooming, obedience training, we are here for your pet 7 days a week. At Lone Tree Veterinary Medical Center, we know that you want the very best for your pet, which is why you can count on us for the latest in technology and methods in everything we do. We are certified with the highest rankings by the American Animal Hospital Association and hold a gold star rating with the Better Business Bureau. You and your pet can visit us Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m., Saturday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., and Sunday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. We are located at 8681 East Lincoln Avenue in Lone Tree. Learn more about us by visiting our website at LoneTreeVet.com or give us a call at 303-708-8050. We believe that all pets deserve to have a good life.
At Arvada West Auto and Truck, we take the way your vehicle stops very seriously. Grinding, groaning, squeaking, fading brake pedal are all signs of worn-out brakes. Did you know there are over 50 steps to a perfect brake job? And our master technicians perform them all. Plus, we back it up with 15 seconds peace of mind warranty. So if you're thinking brakes, think Napa and Arvada West Auto and Truck. 11752 West 64th Avenue, just west of Sims. 303-422-1065.
And this is Drive Radio. John Rush, host Ken Rackley from TuneTech out in the Aurora area. You can find Ken and a link to his website and everything about him by going to drive-radio.com. Just click on the Members Shops page. You'll find him right there. It's easy to get to. You can also type in coloradoselect.com, find him that way. So either way, get you to Ken and all the guys that support this particular program every single Saturday and all of the other sponsors that we've got, and we have a lot of them. They are all listed on our main page at drive-radio.com, and I appreciate all of them from, Joaquin, our new sponsor on the collision side of the fence, to JFR Cars, if you're interested in buying a car, to Lone Tree Vet, to BG, to Napa. We've got a lot there. Please go check them all out. Paul, our insurance guy, he'll save you money on insurance and some of the cars that we're talking about. If you happen to own one of those cars, Paul can actually get you insured properly on that old car. Got to get him back on air here and talk about that in the near future. But hey, anything you need, we've got a full list of sponsors to help you out. And every one of them has been fully vetted out. They're all on our page, drive-radio.com. Hank, you're next. What's going on, sir?
Hi, enjoy your show. I'm a Citroen enthusiast. So a 69 and a half, the 1972 Citroen DS one, that means engine station. The Citroen has a hydro-pneumatic suspension such that when you're unloaded, it's a constant road height. If you load it up, it pumps in hydraulic fluid and automatically raises the car up. It's got good load bearing, good load capacity. So that's my recommendation.
60. Okay, I got to look this car up because I'm not a Citroen guy. So 60, basically, if I type in 69 Citroen, what's the model number?
It's a DS, Dog Sam 21.
21, Dog Sam 21. Okay, yeah, got it up in front of me right now. So what kind of suspension again? Explain that again. I'm not familiar with it.
Oh, the suspension is entirely anti-friction bearings. Like Timken bearings.
Okay.
It has arms that go out, and then the axle, the bearings and everything are at the end of the arms.
Okay.
And the suspension goes up and down. The spring is an accumulator, which is a ball about, let's say, 5 inches in diameter.
Got it.
So an accumulator then has a rubber diaphragm in there. And it's preloaded with nitrogen gas to, let's say, 1,500 psi. So as the car is loaded, the car moves down, then it has a mechanical linkage hooked up to the suspension. When the car goes down too far, it opens up a valve and pumps in hydraulic fluid. So on the other side of the rubber bladder it pumps into a cylinder, and the suspension is hooked up to a piston inside of the cylinder.
Got it.
So it pushes the car up with the piston.
Got it.
It's a very unique suspension. It was very successful. It started in 1955. But Citroen made a huge mistake marketing in the U.S. They gave the exclusive rights to a guy that just signed up, what shall I say, back alley, greasy dealerships and didn't go first class. Otherwise, we'd have Citroens here today.
Got it. Because they're still making them, right? Are they still made?
Oh, absolutely, they're made.
That's what I thought.
They're still big in rally and stuff like that, aren't they?
Yeah.
It really ticked off the French because the DS models and the SM, I don't know if you're familiar with it, with the Maserati engine.
No,
I've got about 4 of them. Had headlights that would turn with the steering wheel for going around corners.
Okay, just like we're doing today now, finally. So a lot of the new cars have that today.
Yeah, you know what the U.S. told the French? No, you can't do that. They have to be rigidly mounted.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
And today we have those.
Yeah. And today we have them.
Yep, a lot of new cars have that actually today. It's amazing. Yeah, I'm looking at websites now. Yeah, there's a lot of cool Citroens even made today. That's very cool. So really, that's the reason we didn't end up with them in the U.S.
Yes, absolutely terrible dealer setup.
Wow, amazing. Shows you how that is. Yep. It's amazing. Hey, appreciate it very much, Hank. Thanks for the phone call. Let's go to JD, who's next. JD, welcome.
Hey, guys, love your show.
Thank you, sir.
Just tinkering on cars or whatever. But the car I'd like to see come back would be the International Scout.
Oh, the old Scout, man. I worked on a lot of those back in the day.
Yeah, I mean, like you say, if you put the modern stuff in it, like put the Protronics electronic ignition in there, and it's a little Delco, just like you have in your Chevrolet, but it's a 4-cylinder, so you can get the 4-cylinder top, and it just mounts right on that 8-cylinder Delco distributor. Same thing. Then you put some front disc brakes on there, you know.
Yeah, some of the later ones had them already. You know, the later Scouts had them anyways.
Yeah, the Scout 2s. The ones I would think would be like the old 62, 67s through there. But, I mean, you're right. You know, the newer cars, they do drive smoother and everything. The only advantage is with the old car, getting that thing cross country would be a beast, but you could work on it.
That's true.
The newer cars, you have to take in the shops, you know. And even if you're if you're buying a car, you're not allowed to work on it. You have to bring it into the shop. If the light comes on, you cannot open the hood. You know, on the older cars, at least you could, like a little 4-cylinder tractor motor like that, you know, I mean, it only topped out at, 70 miles per hour, but like the Hummers, they only top out, the M1 military version only tops out like 60 rattling.
Right.
But, I mean, you could.
Well, even the 304s and 345s were workable on the internationals. Even the later model Scouts you could work on.
Yeah, and it just looks like a little kid drafted it out on the kitchen table. It's very basic.
They were very basic. Well, they were a tractor company that made a truck.
Yeah.
Right. And now I think they have some military versions now, not like the Oshkosh version is a version that the military wants to invest in. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that. They like want to get rid of the Hummer and invest in this Oshkosh version.
I've not seen that. No, I haven't seen that. Interesting.
Yeah, it's really neat. But I think International did do some military versions too, as well as their fleet lines and their trucks, their big trucks. But that little Scout was a beast.
Yeah, and I think International just finally decided that, you know what, we're better off building, big trucks and implements and farm equipment and so on, and we'll stick to that and we'll get out of the car business.
Yeah, but even the farm guys, they built, even those all those even the Scout 2s were awesome too. The later versions, like you say, that had the disc brakes.
Yeah, they were.
All right, but guys, I do love your show and
appreciate it, JD.
I'm listening too.
Thanks, man.
All right, happy Mother's Day, y'all.
Thank you so much for calling in, JD. We appreciate that very much. We'll take a phone call, or we'll take some phone calls when we come back. 303-477-5600. And I don't know about where you're at, but here at the station,
it's getting foggy.
Yeah, getting a little foggy out. Foggy, rainy. It's just kind of the way Mother's Day weekend ends up being sometimes here in Colorado. So give us a call. We'd love to chat. 303-477-5600. 5600. What's the favorite car you'd love to see brought back? If you got a question, a problem, anything at all, we'd love to help you out. Again, Drive Radio 303-477-5600 right here on KLZ 560.
Hello, Drive Radio listeners. This is Chris Hammond with Ken's and Leslie Distributing, your local BG products distributor. Back this week with your BG Tech Tip. This week, we're going to talk about gasoline. Did you know that when crude oil is refined, the raw hydrocarbons are cracked into smaller, more usable chains, such as methane, propane, butane, and among others, octane. The octane string has 8 carbon atoms chained together and is the most resistant fuel to spontaneous combustion under compression. Why does that matter? Well, when you fill up your gas tank, you may have several options for gasoline to purchase. Those options are represented by numbers corresponding to an octane rating. This rating indicates the percentage of that gasoline that is comprised of the 8 carbon chain known as octane. So, is a higher octane gas a better gas? Not necessarily. It is important to use the octane rating recommended for your car by the manufacturer. In some cases, cars may develop a knock or ping caused by early detonation even when using the recommended octane. There are a number of causes for this knock, but oftentimes the combustion chamber deposits cause an increase in the compression ratio, thus causing lower octane gas to ignite while the piston is still in the compression stroke, which we call a knock. Oftentimes, a top-tier fuel system cleaner like the BG44K can remove these deposits and eliminate the knock and your need to spend more money on higher octane gas. So the moral of the story, use the octane fuel best suited for your car. Thank you, Drive Radio listeners. Happy to be back this week, and we'll talk again next week.
The new gasoline direct injection engines, also known as GDI, are the hottest new improvement to horsepower and fuel efficiency in this century. Service professionals agree that GDI's unique power requires unique GDI maintenance. BG Products has the most current and effective GDI maintenance available in over 20,000 shops, and they back it up with a lifetime BG protection plan. Go to bgfindershop.com. That's bgfindershop.com. If you have a GDI engine and you want it to last, remember 2 more letters. BG.
We know what it's like, trying to find an auto mechanic that you can trust. As a consumer, you feel helpless. A friend recommends a shop. You try them out, they seem okay for a while, but see how they react when they miss something. Mistakes happen, but it's what they do next that is very telling. Colorado Select is a group of like-minded independent shop owners who should be competitors, but are instead so driven to provide the best possible customer experience possible. They all work together to make sure that you, the customer, is always super served with the best service and the best auto repair in the industry. Every Colorado Select Car Care Center is owned by an ASE certified master technician, and every Colorado Select member offers a 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty on every repair. If they ever miss on a repair, they promise to make it right without any hassle. Get to know the Colorado Select Car Care Center nearest you. Find one at coloradoselect.org.
Some people steer clear of store brands, but Napa Conventional Motor Oil for $2.19 a quart is more than a store brand. It has the Napa logo on it, a logo that represents quality and knowledge. The same logo on the store and that guy's shirt. So pick up Napa Conventional Motor Oil for $2.19 a quart. Only available at, you guessed it, Napa. That's Napa know-how. General states pricing. Sales prices do not include applicable state, local taxes, or recycling fees. Offer expires 5/31/16.
This is Red Merrill for Phoenix Weaponry. Phoenix Weaponry is a weapon manufacturer that services the firearm enthusiast. From precision ARs to suppressors, Phoenix Weaponry can make your dreams come true. Phoenix Weaponry is a full-service gun shop that offers gunsmithing, coating, and modifications to your own weapon. Phoenix Weaponry, family-owned and operated right here in Colorado. If you can dream it, Phoenix Weaponry can build it. Call today, 720-340-2496. Again, that's 720-340-2496. Or visit their website, phoenixweaponry.com. Mention Sports from Colorado and receive 10% off your custom-built weapon.
Life is full of enjoyable moments, such as getting a root canal, paying taxes, your kids playing their recorder, dinner with the in-laws, and buying a car. I'm just messing with you. Those things are absolutely horrible. But with the help of Mike Lather and JFR and Associates, they might actually make purchasing a new vehicle, well, enjoyable. Tell them what you're looking for, and they'll set out and find what fits your parameters, handle the negotiating, gather history reports, and even arrange financing. Before you know it, you're behind the wheel of your new car. Take hunting for a new vehicle off of your to-do list and give it to Mike Lather with JFR and Associates. Give him a ring at 720-266-4941, 720-266-4941. Tell Mike that you heard about him on Drive Radio and get back to enjoying your kid's wonderful impromptu recorder concert.
This is ASC Automotive Professional Pam Oaks, and it's time to take a 60-second break and make you a savvy car consumer. Fiat Chrysler Auto announced that they are partnering with Google to introduce the first autonomous minivan fleet. This partnership plans to outfit approximately 100 Pacifica hybrids in 2017. Google isn't the only company with an autonomous car on the test track. Delphi, the same company last summer that drove the autonomous
15 seconds, guys.
brand to New York City, QNX of Canada, Continental, Auto Talks, and of course Tesla. Lesson learned. Want to learn more about your vehicle? Visit me at carcarefortheclueless.com, making you a savvy car consumer.
And this is Sean Rush, Drive Radio, KLZ 560. Ken Rackley from TuneTech, also with us. Larry Unger on the other side of the glass from Larry's Automotive and Transmission. And, of course, our great engineer, Mindy, is here today. So it's raining a little bit here at the studio. We got a line open, 303-477-5600. Had an email question. Wanted to know about actually bringing back the Tucker, which we talked about a moment ago, Ken and I did during the break. And is the Super Cruising Golden still on? I called the info line during the break, and they never cancel. So cruise is on. Doesn't matter what the weather's like. Take your ride out, get it wet, away you go. So it is on. So hope that helps everybody asking that question. Cody in Lakewood, you're next.
Yes. Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call.
Thank you, Cody.
Yeah, I had a question for you regarding some of these HD diesel trucks.
Okay.
I'm going to be looking at trading in or selling my Tundra for what we have. Just can't quite tow what we need.
Okay.
So I just wanted to hear your opinions on, there's a lot of different models out there for the 2500s and see what you guys thought.
I own a large portion of them too, so I'm thinking you called the right show, because I think we can help you out on that side of the fence. So first questions first. What are you hauling? What are you towing?
It's a 30-foot toy hauler, and it comes in at about 6,800 pounds dry. So loaded up, we're going to be close to about 10,000.
Okay, so you're 10K. You got lots of choices, as you know. Everything from the, which, by the way, I keep forgetting to mention this truck, and I'm sorry. I should have mentioned it last week. Somebody called on the same thing, and I forgot to mention it. The new Nissan Titan diesel with the 5-liter Cummins engine actually is right in this alley. It will haul exactly what you're trying to do. So that's choice A. And then, of course, you've got, from that point on, you've got everything from, Ford with their diesel, GM with the Duramax on either the Chevy or the GMC, and of course Cummins on the Ram side of the fence.
Sure.
Any of them will do exactly what you're trying to do. It really is going to come down more to what do you like as far as creature comforts inside go. I bought the new Ram Mega Cab this last go around back in the fall, just because I love the extra seating capacity in that back seat, not only for the extra cargo space, seat reclines. If you have any backseat passengers, it makes it just that much more comfortable for those folks, and you don't lose any real overall length. And the Ram gives you the tightest turning radius out of any of the vehicles listed, period, just because the way the front axle is made.
I see. Now, I've heard about Ram that they have a little bit more electrical problems than some other models.
Oh, I own more Rams than I do anything else as far as what's in my fleet, and I can tell you that as far as the fleet side of the fence goes, for me, that is not the case.
Okay, that's great because that's really what I was leaning towards. Those Ram 2500s. I like the body style and
it's a good truck.
Features are real nice.
The cab configuration, I'm just going to be frank. Part of the reason why I bought a Ram over even a Duramax, and I've been driving a Duramax for a number of years, and I love the Duramax engine. I love the Allison transmission, but I bought actually about a 3500 with the heavier engine and the heavier transmission just because of what I'm doing, plowing snow and so on. And I just like the cab configuration, on the inside of that truck, better than I do some of the others. Now, I will tell you, the new F-250, the new Super Duty that's going to come out in the very near future, I believe it's going to be 2017. If it looks at all and has any of the creature comforts in it that the F-150 has, that's going to be a truck to reckon with also.
Really?
Yeah. Okay. Very nice interior. Right. But for me right now,
personally, a lot better about it.
Personally for me, again, I bought the Ram just because of the way the creature comforts are inside. I think you get some extras with it that you don't get in some of the other trucks. For example, my truck has heated rear seats. You don't get that in a Chevrolet. I've got ventilated, I've got vents that actually come to the back end of the back side of the truck. So, the second row seating, I should say, ventilated, where you're not getting that with Chevrolet or Ford. I mean, there's just some creature comforts inside with the Ram, and I just love the Uconnect. I love the Chrysler system on the Uconnect side of the fence, and the rest of the layout, and I love the steering wheel controls, and and for me, plowing snow, the turning radius was a big deal.
Sure, I can see that, and for me as well, towing something like that, I will need to be able to turn.
Just for example, my Mega Cab Ram. So my Mega Cab short box, which is the only way they build that truck Ram, turns 10 inches shorter than let me make sure I'm saying that right. 10 feet shorter turning radius than my Crew Cab short box Duramax I came out of.
Wow, that makes a big difference in a cul-de-sac.
That's a whole lane.
10 feet is a big difference. So when you're plowing snow or doing some things with it, why did I go Ram? There's your reason.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's great. I appreciate the info, and you guys keep up the good work.
We'll do it. Cody, thanks so much for the phone call. We appreciate it very much. Kim, you're next. What's going on?
Hey, I got a 94 F350, and the 351 has that engine oil cooler that comes off the lower radiator hose.
Okay.
That box is starting to leak. Is there a replacement for that, or would it be okay if I just bypass it and not have to worry about?
What are you doing? What are you doing with the truck? Let's start there. So there, Kim?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm on my cell phone. Sorry.
No worries. My next question was, what are you doing with the truck?
Well, it's basically my main truck. And I do have a bigger trailer that I go up and get wood with. So, it's not like I haul one of them big giant fifth wheels, but
it's,
I do use it to haul stuff with, but not real heavy.
And I don't know that I ever asked, what engine's in that? I don't think we asked that yet.
Oh, that's a 351 gasoline.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay. Well, I guess the other question, so you basically just don't want to spend the $300 that is for the oil cooler. Is that what you're saying?
Well, I don't know if you can still get them or not.
They're all over. Yeah. In fact, I'm guessing since Dorman actually makes one, which means Napa will sell that.
Yeah. Oh, that was my next question. Okay, cool. All right. Yeah, and it's just basically a couple bolts inside there with that to replace that, correct?
Yeah, looks to me like it. Yeah, I'm looking at the cooler right in front of me, and I don't think it's that big of a deal. You should be able to, again, Dorman makes one of those. You should be able to buy that from now. Now, again, call Napa, tell them what you've got, double check. I don't have that right in front of me. Ken may be looking it up as we speak, but we're relying on internet here and how fast we can go. So, anyways.
Yeah, no, that's great. My next thing is the vehicle I'd love to see come back would be the old 50s Dodge Power Wagon.
Well, that's it. Yeah, nobody's mentioned that yet today.
That's right. Those are sharp.
Yeah, those were sharp. Nobody said that yet today. You're the first one.
Yeah, more of them things are like tanks.
Yes, they are. And actually, there is Modine actually also makes an engine oil cooler for that. So I'm guessing Napa makes that. Haven't got that far yet.
Okay, maybe that far. Okay, I'll give them a call then.
Give them a
They're
call,
right
see
down
if
the
they've
street
got
from
one,
me.
and yep, go from there. Kim, thanks so much for your phone call. We appreciate it very much. We've got lines open 303-477-5600. And yet surprising, and I know Napa is one of our big sponsors and love them dearly, but it's surprising how much stuff for old vehicles they actually carry. I'm not giving them a kudos just because they're a sponsor, but I'm here to tell you guys, they end up stocking and having a lot of components that you would think nobody's going to have this. And you go online and you look it up, and before you know it, there it is, right, Ken?
Right, exactly. And a lot of times they might even have something in stock because maybe that same component fit 50 different models and for 10 different years, so
exactly.
It's funny how that works.
That's exactly right. All right, let's do this. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. We got one full segment left of Drive Radio, and then we're going to let you listen to Sportsman of Colorado right after that. So we'll be right back. This is John Rush, your host, KLZ 560.
We know what it's like, trying to find an auto mechanic that you can trust. As a consumer, you feel helpless. A friend recommends a shop. You try them out, they seem okay for a while, but see how they react when they miss something. Mistakes happen, but it's what they do next that is very telling. Colorado Select is a group of like-minded independent shop owners who should be competitors, but are instead so driven to provide the best possible customer experience possible. They all work together to make sure that you, the customer, is always super served with the best service and the best auto repair in the industry. Every Colorado Select Car Care Center is owned by an ASE certified master technician, and every Colorado Select member offers a 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty on every repair. If they ever miss on a repair, they promise to make it right without any hassle. Get to know the Colorado Select Car Care Center nearest you. Find one at coloradoselect.org.
Hey, Northern Colorado. The sisters from Community Auto here. Just letting you know we got your back. We have a happy family here at Community Auto and would love for you to be a part. We've come a long way since opening shop more than 20 years ago. Thanks, Dad. As Small Business of the Year 2015, featured in Parts and People and among the top shops in Colorado, we'd like to thank you for trusting us with your vehicle. With our new customer loyalty program, you can earn rewards dollars and free services like oil changes and transmission flushes. Like us a lot? Refer a friend, and we'll give you $50. It's that easy. Auto repair doesn't have to be painful. Actually, with us, it's pretty fun. We know that a happy car will get you far, so we'll fix and maintain yours with a smile. We're fun, fresh, and good at what we do. Call us today or visit us at communityautoinc.com. We'd love to meet you.
In a flash, from out of nowhere, your whole life can change forever. It happened so quickly, nobody saw it coming. Soon the medical bills will be arriving.
Will insurance cover your injuries? Does the other driver have assets? Should I sue?
It was his fault after all. After an accident, you need to call the law offices of Flesh Law. Flesh Law will never settle until you are fully compensated for your injuries.
Call 303-806-8886 for the Flesh Law Firm. 303-806-8886. Online, go to fleshlawfirm.com.
Flesh Law, the trial-tested, trial-ready attorneys.
Driving around the neighborhood, I see guys working on their cars, probably saving some money by doing their own spring tune-ups. You don't have to be a gearhead to do simple maintenance on your car. You just need someone to show you how. Extreme Auto Repair Parker has their annual spring maintenance car care clinic coming up on Saturday, May 7th from 10 a.m. to noon. It's free, and you'll be learning simple car care procedures that you can do yourself. Sign up today for this free money-saving clinic by calling 303-841-1071. They always go to the extreme for you at Extreme Auto Repair Parker.
Know-how! When you pick up an Evercraft 26-piece screwdriver set for $19.99 at Napa, you're not just getting 26 beautiful chrome-plated instruments. You're getting something that shows the world if there is a problem, you've got 26 ways to tackle it. That's $19.99 for a 26-piece screwdriver set and 26 ways to show you're the man for any job that requires screwdrivers. That's Napa Know-How. At participating Napa Auto Parts stores while supplies last. Offer expires 5/31/16.
Every car has a transmission, and every transmission needs servicing, but most drivers ignore their transmission. Don't fix what ain't broke, as they say. Larry's Automotive is the area's most respected transmission and driveline repair facility, and they'll tell you that most of the expensive repairs they do could easily have been avoided with regular scheduled maintenance. Maybe they were told by a mechanic that their transmission fluid was getting dark, or maybe there was a slight hesitation between gears. Whatever the case, they are now faced with expensive repairs. Larry's technicians are ATRA and ASE certified, and their warranty covers you even if you're out of town. And while there's nobody better for transmission repair than Larry's Automotive, the truth is, they would have preferred to do the prevention
10 seconds.
instead. Larry's Automotive and Transmission Repair, the Driveline Pros on Bradburn Boulevard in Westminster. Call 303-427-2108. 303-427-2108.
Here we go, guys.
And this is John Rush Drive Radio, KLZ 560. Last segment of the day. Ken Rackley with me from Tune Tech, and Ken is on the phone. Ken, welcome. What's going on, sir?
Yeah, good morning, John.
Good morning.
06 Cherokee. It started, the airbag light will come on for about 10 seconds. It will go off for about a minute, come back on. Kind of does that. This morning, going down to Littleton, there was no problem. But then when we were coming home, it started that again. You got any ideas?
Wouldn't really know. Really need to get it scanned and see what's going on. It's not a
common problem on those,
right?
But I will tell you that in the steering wheel, the clock spring that's in there can be a problem. I can't remember, how many miles do you have on that, Ken?
99.
Yeah, you're getting close enough where it could potentially have a clock spring. What happens if it doesn't sense that there's something going on? If it doesn't sense connection in the clock spring, it'll turn the light on.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
do you think temperature has had anything to do with that, or can you tell?
No, actually, it just started it yesterday. But then this morning we drove down to Littleton to grandson's ball game, and it wasn't.
Okay.
It stayed off. But then coming home, it started that again. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I guess I'll need to get it in.
Yeah, I'd scan it, see what it's doing. I wouldn't be surprised if it's got a clock spring issue. But again, it could be, to Ken's point, it could be any number of ideas.
Yeah,
well, I'd heard one. Do those airbags? I'd heard one time that they have to be replaced occasionally.
No.
Is that
never?
No.
Never.
Yeah.
No. Unless they've
been activated
under the recall or something along those lines.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Otherwise, they're sitting there. It's basically an explosive charge. It doesn't go anywhere until it gets ignited. It'll last forever.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll get it in and get it looked at.
All right, Ken. Appreciate it very much. Thanks so much for the phone call. And I got a couple of email questions that we'll get answered real quick. Back to Kim, who called right before Ken. We did find that, yes, Napa does have those oil coolers. They're listed $150 or so. You should be able to buy that without any problem. So here's one for you that just came in, Ken. Happy Saturday. Snowing up here in Blackhawk. Old 85 K5 Blazer with a plow on it. Opinions on one or two batteries. One now, but having trouble plowing in the dark with the lights on. Alternator is good, and it's a gel battery. If I were to run two batteries, do I need an isolator or just hook them together? So last question first. If you run two batteries, yes, you need to isolate the two, one from another. First things first, though. In today's modern world, you really should be able to not have to go through the hassle of doing dual batteries. You ought to be able to run a good high amperage alternator with a good solid high amp battery, which it sounds like you already have. And frankly, you should be fine doing that. The key is going to be making sure you've got enough alternator to handle that.
Yeah.
Without having to run a dual battery. Now,
Sure.
you can run dual batteries. You can put a second tray in. Those vehicles came equipped with a hole there. We can put a tray in there and make that happen. But I think I'd be more apt to look at an alternator upgrade regardless of what you do, whether you do a single or dual batteries.
Yeah.
What would you do?
I think along those lines too. I guess maybe is a little nicer with the dual battery just because you have less load on the initial one. But it's I mean, either way, you're going to need a bigger alternator anyway.
Yeah,
So,
because here's the reality of that. On some of our older plow trucks that we run that even have the dual battery setups, we've gone in and upgraded alternators to higher amperage alternators, because even with the dual batteries on the old, say 63 amp alternator, let's just say, still we're not enough to keep up with the dual battery setup in running a snowplow all night long with lights on, heater running, all of that.
Yeah.
There's pretty good load going on all the time. So you got to realize every time you hit that stick for the plow, you're drawing a couple hundred amps.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a starter motor.
So think about, it's like a starter motor every time you hit the stick. So a couple hundred amps, you've got a 63 amp alternator. If you're lucky, and in your case, you might have a 37 amp alternator, you're not going to keep up with 5 batteries.
Yeah, right.
You're just not. There's just not enough there to keep up with a 200 amp hit on a consistent basis.
Yep. Yep.
That's how it works.
And that's whether you move it side to side or up and down. It's
every time you hit it, you're drawing a lead. And if you got a really big load of snow on the blade and you hit it going up, you could go up to 350 amps.
Yeah.
They'll pull that much. And I know that because I've tested those with amp clamps to see what they actually draw.
Makes sense, yeah.
So, it's a starter motor.
I wouldn't have thought that they pulled that much just because there wasn't as much load, but a hydraulic pump is going to draw a lot of power, and it will. And it is a starter motor.
And the colder it is outside, the more it draws. The fluid's thicker. Again, you get the snow all packed in the front of that blade. It packs in. It makes it heavier, and voila, you've got more amperage draw.
Exactly.
All right. So then we also had cars I'd like to see reissued. Not in a majority of any kind out there, but there are 2 Plymouths that I'd like to see brought back. Not that they were perfect, but for me, they had a lot of charisma that made them appealing. The 2 were the 67 Plymouth GTX and the 69 Roadrunner. For the 67 GTX, either the standard 440 or the 426 Hemi are okay. The 440 is probably better to live with every day, but you can't argue with the Hemi for its superstar status and the prices that those cars command today. If my memory is correct, the 69 Roadrunners, I like the looks better than the 68s or 70s, were available with either 383, 440, or 426 Hemi power. The Roadrunner 383 is a little different from the regular 383, and it utilizes a 440 hypo cam, which gave it a little extra power. Unless AC was ordered, the 383 Roadrunners with AC got the regular 383, as apparently the factory decided the idle was too lumpy for the 440 cam. I have no personal experience with either car, and I was never able to afford anything even close to these 2 vehicles. On a totally different track, I've always fantasized about owning a 56 Austin Healey 100. Those were better than the early 4-cylinder Healeys, and they had a 4-speed transmission and better brakes and steering. Never could afford one of those either, he says. Well, I know the feeling.
You're right.
Even back in the day when the Roadrunners and the GTXs and the Hemi Cudas and the Chevelles and all of that, and even in my day, those cars were too expensive to own, even when I was a kid.
Oh, sure.
They were just they were twice as much money as what you could afford to own and buy.
Yeah. Yeah, you could look at maybe a Satellite or something like that, but it wasn't the car.
Yeah, so for some of us, they're always out of reach.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to say that. Even back then, even though they were less expensive then, they were still out of reach.
You're right, yeah. I mean, what do you do? It's
that's the way it goes.
Yeah.
All right, so let's see if I can finish my list on some of the underappreciated accessories, I guess we could say, that we've got today. If I can find those. Hang on here, guys. I think I screwed up here. I think I
deleted that page.
Well, let's just say I think I overwrote it with something different, which is not a big deal. I'll get it back here. Not a problem. Let me find it here. I've got it someplace right here. You pull it back up real quick. Well, how far did we get? Do you remember?
Let's see. Auto headlights. Where were we at after that? I can't remember.
Dimming rearview mirror. Automatic headlamps.
Yeah.
Auto dimming mirror. HVAC, or the Honda vacuum on the Honda Odyssey. Heads up displays where we left off.
Yep.
The infotainment screen. So almost everyone has seen an automotive touchscreen in the wild. They typically come installed somewhere near the top or the middle of the center stack. And most units have a glossy screen that looks looks great in the showroom. In the real world, the matte finish is much better. So what these guys are saying is the matte finish screens are much better.
Yeah.
Rotary controller knobs, like gear shifters that are rotary controlled, or heaters and things along those lines. Yeah, you know what? Those are much better than the old slide dials.
Yeah.
Or not dials, but the old slide,
slide
switches that would go back and forth.
Yeah.
The slide controls, they were terrible.
Oh, yeah.
This is a cool feature too, by the way. Pause, rewind, fast forward, live radio. GM vehicles, for example, you take a phone call, and whatever station you were listening to, talk radio, you take the phone call, come back, and you pick up right where you left off. They've got a built-in hard drive in them now.
Nice.
Or flash drive or whatever.
Yeah, right.
Very cool feature. Very cool
Storage,
feature.
yeah. Huh.
Window washing mist. In the old days, you had to run the full gamut of your windshield squirters. Now you can just mist them up.
Oh, sure.
So that's an advantage. An attention assist, which basically tells you when something's going on. So just the driver assist features in the vehicles today. Windows and convertible tops. Yeah, I'd buy that one. Yeah. And I think this is the last one. Capless fuel fillers. Those are fancy, by the way. Those are really slick. No gas cap.
Hey, you're right.
Open it up, fill up, close it, and off you go.
Yeah.
So, all right, tell you what, let's do this. Let's just get out of here. We'll get Sportsmen of Colorado running here next. They'll be up momentarily, so don't go away. Sportsmen of Colorado is just around the corner. This is Ken Rackley. Ken, give your phone number one more time.
Yeah, phone number out in Aurora is 303-364-3391.
And this is Drive Radio.3 Thank you, Mindy. We'll be back next week, same time, same place. Join me Monday, Rush to Reasons, every afternoon from 3 to 7 p.m. right here on KLZ 560. This is Drive Radio.
Still haven't had enough? Go to drive-radio.com. Email your questions and comments. Download previous programs and find lots of useful information, including your nearest Colorado Select Auto Care Center. That's drive-radio.com. Thanks for listening to Drive Radio, sponsored by the member shops of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers on KLZ 560.
Drive Radio is a presentation of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers. The independently owned and operated shops of Colorado Select hold each other accountable for the highest standards of technical expertise, honesty, and professionalism. They all understand that choosing a mechanic is risky business, so Colorado Select was created by this exclusive group of like-minded professionals who are dedicated to raising the level of consumer confidence in Colorado's auto repair industry. Schedule your next oil change at any of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers heard on Drive Radio, and you'll immediately see the difference. For the complete list of all